Man, it's been a long time.
Some might say too long, perhaps. Hello,
Hello.
everybody.
And hello to you, my beloved co-host, Tanya.
And hello to you, my beloved host, Whack.
It really has been way too long. I missed this game.
I didn't hear what you said. Sorry, I fully clocked out for a second there.
I just said that I missed this.
Yeah, likewise. We're off to a great start. It's Mahoyo in time. Oh, like Morbin. Okay, that makes sense.
yeah.
Hi, Dinty.
Hello, everybody. Dinty, Faye, James, Alex. Hello, Neon. Hello, everybody. Smart Alec. Everybody's here.
Everyone is here except for the people who aren't. I would love to see a battle royale between chat. I wonder who would win.
What does the final chat standing get? A surprise for it?
I couldn't think of a single answer that wasn't really fucked up, so.
I think we should give them one of your arms. We just detach it and give it to them. That decision chat, thank you for coming.
The winner will be digitized and added to the computer systems in the lab. I'm gonna do so much shit to you.
You will be part of the multi-core processor system of the Anya series.
It'll be fun. We watch movies sometimes.
Sometimes. Ah. Speaking of things that we do sometimes we stream. Should we do that today?
I guess. I wasn't really expecting to, but we can.
Yeah, it's a little kind of out of the blue, but I thought it could be a fun idea.
Just feel like you probably should have warned me first. I'm down, but can I just can you let me know next time?
Oh. 1 second, I need to change the stream quality because I believe I'm currently streaming at 1080p 60 FPS to you as well.
That's gotta be 1440. Bump that shit up.
Exactly.
Or do you not think I deserve it?
Don't, honey, don't, please.
It's so funny. I'm so sorry. I can't help it.
And they say a brunette with dimples can stabilize the reactor core? I hear insane statements to drop in chat.
Beyond delightful.
Ah. Chat, can't you all hear Anya properly? She's got new audio things going on, and I think she sounds beautifully. But
for those who don't catch my streams, I configured my entire audio setup and reconfigured it in a completely different way, so it should sound nice and clear and crisp, and it's great.
I think we're gonna have to kill this guy, Aoko. Damn, yeah. Oh, it really has to. We did just leave it off after realizing that it was fucking Sojuro that spotted them doing magecraft, and they were like, well, we're gonna have to kill him.
A little quieter than you, they say.
Can you turn it up in any way?
I'm just hoping that doesn't add any background noise, but let me try it. I sound so fucking clean and clear. Thank you, bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting to the...
How do I sound now? Do I sound a little bit louder?
Oh, that's perfect. You're getting into the jello exactly as I am.
Yes! Thank you. Wonderful. And yeah, this also means I can do a broader range of voices, and it's still clear and audible, and also you get to hear it when I lean into the mic and do sexy words.
For example...
You can't just put me on the spot like that.
I was putting you on the spot. I'm so sorry.
Name a woman. Fucking, I don't know.
Can't even name a woman, chat.
Steve's a bad influence on me. I just said something, almost said something really sexist. I gotta stop hanging out with that Steve boy.
You need to stop hanging out with that Steve boy. He's not a good influence on ya. Do the Ayako. Surely there's no ulterior motives for that, smart Alec. Just judging by your fucking profile picture that has been consistent for the past like 2+ years.
Gotta ask what you did later, because fuck you and just keeps fucking all your shit up. Yeah, no, I will absolutely help you configure your audio dinty later, but now we are busy. Son, I'm working.
For now, we gotta see Alice fucking killing Sojuro.
Let's fucking get into it.
Oh, already just like the parallax of the clouds. So simple yet effective. Sojuro returned to his apartment, on foot as per routine, under a blanket of clouds in the night sky. It's been so long since I did like proper narration. Oh my god.
A little rusty?
I'll get it. The rusty stairs of his apartment building clanged with each step. Out of the corner of his eye, he could see the bicycles parked by the apartment building's outer wall. He debated the pros and cons of a bicycle, how much easier life could be versus the expense, the convenience versus the necessity, but in the end, decided one was just not right for him now. Clutching the bag of apples under his arm, he took out the key to his residence. Once again, I know I'm already pausing here for a moment, but this has been consistent since Fate Stay Night. I love the way Type Moon, Nasu and Ko just do Foley work so much.
It's really good. It's, I think, the strongest it's ever been in this one, obviously, but it's so good. This was me, right?
Yeah, that's the Shiro boys essentially.
No, it's been a long fucking time. I'm so sorry. A bike sure would be convenient, but it's not like...
He tilted his head in confusion. More and more, he found himself preoccupied with such random thoughts, when the real issue at hand was deciding what to do with the apples he had received. He placed the paper bag by the sink and switched on the lights. It was just after 10 in the evening. With the end of term exams just around the corner, he had come home an hour earlier than usual. As he made back for the kitchen to pick one of the apples to snack on, he found an envelope stuffed in his mail slot. The envelope had no name, return address, or stamp. Inside was a single piece of paper that had only the sender's name and a short message. It read, "There's something we need to talk about tonight. It's important, so I will be waiting. Needless to say, keep this a secret." A concise set of orders, neatly written. It was signed Aoko Ozaki. She had been considerate enough to enclose a detailed map of the meeting place. Puzzled, he cocked his head to the side, then headed out the door. Afterward, upon the room's sole tenant leaving the premises, the envelope burst into flames and evaporated without a trace, as though it had never existed in the first place. By the late 80s, Japan's post-war economic boom had somewhat stabilized, and the city experienced a period of steady growth. The city's modernization marched on, and the Japan Railways train station, a symbol of a new era, neared completion. In Misaki's neighboring town of Yashirogi, a new symbol of its own was about to be born. Yashirogi Bread and Kitsyland. It was Misaki's worst investment. Years later, it could be dubbed the fool's gold of the economic bubble, a relic of a bygone age. Do you want to do the old man boys?
The city lacks aspiration and sophistication.
10 years ago, Yashirogi's renowned Tokitsu Baking Company ran factories all across the nation. Its proprietor was a middle-aged gentleman, then age 56, by the name of Yurihiko Tokitsu, known affectionately by most as Topan. He took it upon himself to begin development on an estate on the outskirts of Yashirogi and broke ground on a recreational wonderland that he hoped to be the pride of Misaki City. The long-awaited opening came in 1981. After 3 years of investment, this local amusement park, full of all kinds of hopes and dreams, began its short-lived tenure. It covered more than 85 square acres. Its magnificent merry-go-round dazzled all who passed through the park's gates. Its roller coaster twisted and turned about the edges of the park like a writhing Japanese dragon. Its Ferris wheel, packed beyond necessity with gimmicks, was said to have tested the limits of modern engineering.
It's perfect, infused with everything an amusement park could ever need.
Where's my Defunctland episode? Hi, Tubby!
I think this is the Defunctland episode.
This may be. Old Yurihiko looked upon his creation and smiled. Only boosting his confidence was the fact that its grand opening was staged during a period of prosperity, the springtime of the world. But, in spite of this, they splendidly miscalculated the balance between aspirations and sophistication. Its mascot, Kitsy, was poorly designed and appeared like a cheap knockoff. The park was stuffed to the brim with bread stands. Even its impossible to navigate mirror maze seemed out of date from the start. There are no dreams to be had at Kitsyland, only nightmarish satire. Numerous trade magazines lambasted Kitsyland's shortcomings, and customer attendance declined. There was even an incident where a 6-year-old strayed from his mother had an accident and nearly died. 1986. 5 years after the park opened. The situation had grown from bad to worse, and the park was hemorrhaging money. On top of everything, Yurihiko, who had bet everything on the success of mascot Kitsy, retired, and Kitsyland's operations were officially in trouble. And thus, amidst the scorn of nearly all residents of the area, ended Misaki City's one and only amusement park. What's more, perhaps best described as a footnote to this debacle, the self-proclaimed Parisian artist who designed the mascot, Toki Julik, was said to have snapped his brush in mourning over the closure of the park. Returning to the present. I am so in it already. I am so in it.
I'm so fucking ready for this.
It was midnight, and the Kitsy land of today was a shadow of its former glory. Like a doll abandoned in the corner of a toy box, the lonely park was illuminated only by the light of the town that continued to live around it. Self-proclaimed Parisian? Yeah.
Everyone sounds the same to me. Is this me again?
That's Sojiro, yeah.
So that's what happened.
Sojiro closed the Yashirogi guidebook that he had picked up on the way here. The story of its history was almost difficult to believe, but he supposed this was what people referred to as entropy. The park's front gate was unlocked. When he worked here the previous time, the iron fence was locked shut with a rusty chain. But the chain was nowhere to be seen, and the gate left ajar. Following the map drawn in the letter, Sojiro quickly made his way inside.
Sounded urgent, but to meet this late at night? What in the world could she want?
Sojiro complained, quite out of character for him. It was probably because, in spite of his naivety, even he knew that something was amiss. I really thought they were gonna go with naivete. And I had to catch myself. Though the park was abandoned, this was still trespassing. Unlawful entry, larceny, burglary. These were certainly not things, or perhaps crimes, that Sojiro was proud to do, but...
Sorry, I can't pay you any money. I'm really sorry for coming in for free.
Money, apparently, was where his conscience was gnawing at him. He clapped his hands in apology toward the statue of Kitsy, on whose eyes the pain had begun to aptly dissolve. Sojiro passed the mascot bleeding red paint from its eye sockets, and began to walk the night park.
This rules.
Oh, man.
Can you give me 2 seconds to go run and refill my big water?
By all means, take your time. Woo! Country boys learning about comical, fanatical failures of city dunderheads. Yay. Places like this always felt sad to you. There is an inherent sadness in seeing something once people, like, felt affection and had hopes for collapse like this. But at the same time, I find it, like, beautiful, too, in the ways that they still remain the skeleton of, like, a big attraction that no longer works, you know? The bones of a project that either ran its course or was completely mismanaged. I think it's really fascinating. Your water? I didn't even hear. Imagining Sojiro is like, oh my god, the amount of money that got put into making something like this is more than I could hope to comprehend in my lifetime. I don't even know if he, like, is processing that to that point. The park founder on his deathbed, it was not a mistake, is crazy work.
I just want to say that I said my big water because after my trip to Germany, I got one of those big, giant, like, liter beer steins to drink water out of because it's really convenient.
That makes so much sense. Are you capable of turning yourself up just a tiny bit more?
No.
Oh!
Yeah, hang on. Was that loud?
Yeah, that was perfectly, like, volumes wise.
Okay. Okay, hang on. Because I didn't do anything. I just talked louder.
Yeah.
Let me just reorient some things so I'm talking a little more, like, into my microphone.
The microphone.
The microphone.
Imagine Shiro trying to run a theme park, Justice Land. God.
What do you do there? What's the theme?
I'm sorry, I think that could suck, actually.
That sounds like it blows, Doc. Hang on.
Yeah. We do know that Gil can at least make a really cool, like, water park, so surely he can do a good theme park.
How about now? Are we good?
That's perfect.
Do I sound swag and sweet and volumed?
You sound based.
Like bassy or like based?
Building's colors had faded. The collection of machines was rusted. Man-made residents no longer felt the passage of time. Even the ghosts themselves could not endure the disparity between this forsaken place and its previous grand stature. It was like a fossilized dream. These were the ruins of a paradise, both created and abandoned by man and reality. The economy had stabilized, and the standard of living was on the rise. Nobody was overly concerned with the future. These were the remains of a wild and exciting era. Oh my god, I love this so much.
The visual presentation is insane.
His breath turning to white wisp before him, Sojiro continued through the abandoned amusement park. Though void of human presence, this was not nearly as frightening as the darkness deep in the mountains. City suburbs can take many different forms, But Kitsyland was unusual for an amusement park, in so much as it had been built adjacent to a residential district. The park was surrounded by a forest, but even that, ultimately, was man-made. It was no different from the curtains on a classroom window. If you were to scale the iron fence encircling Kitsyland and break through the 20 yards of afforested trees, you could make it back to the familiar townscape. Though the amusement park tended to arouse dread in the city folk, to Sojiro, it was little different from the commotion and terror of downtown.
I guess that's it.
The central plaza was as silent as a grave. According to the map, the meeting spot was west of here. Waiting for Sojiro at his destination was a rugged, imposing, magnificent castle towering before the backdrop of the cloudy night sky. Even for an abandoned park, it was a remarkable structure. If the roller coasters and the Ferris wheel were loud, intense attractions, this was comparatively quiet and easygoing. It was one of Kitsyland's 3 iconic structures, and in a way, the wicked fortress that guided this paradise down the path of closure. Generally speaking, amusement park mazes generally fell into one of 2 categories. Labyrinths, which disorient visitors with their sheer size, and mirror houses, which disorient visitors with optical illusions. Many of a labyrinth's guests enjoyed the brief sense of adventure that it afforded. Over the years, however, it could be usurped by the ever-increasing thrills of new attractions. Such was the way of all trends, the curse of all fads. The new must give way to the newer. On the other hand, the House of Mirrors was a time-honored, beloved staple. Even within the confines of a classroom's dimensions, well-placed mirrors and well-directed light could both perplex and delight its visitors. And figuring in the cost of maintenance, a well-designed House of Mirrors could far outlive its labyrinth brethren. Even if both types faded into obscurity, they could remain a staple of what constitute an amusement park. However, that didn't mean that combining them could produce double the fun. Together, they transform from entertainment into an uncanny realm from which those who dare to step within could never leave. In a similar sense, Kitsy's Mystery Tour Castle was the park's very own otherworld. Indeed, 5% of visitors ended up requesting staff assistance to get out. Modeled after European castles, it was greater than a football field in length, and the interior was further split into 3 floors. 2 floors above ground and 1 below, lined with mirrors from top to bottom, equal parts complex and vast. The maze demanded at least 30 minutes even for veterans. One visit was all it took to be struck by cataptrophobia for hours. It was this labyrinth that now stood in Sojiro's way.
Looks like it's not entirely pitch black. I guess somebody turned the lights on.
Oh, 30 minutes of maze is insane.
Shout out to the 4-hour corn mazes from back where I'm from.
It seemed that Sojiro, unaware of what a House of Mirrors even was, concerned himself only with its lighting. He checked the letter from Aoko once more. The letter read, "I will be waiting in the first floor lobby of the House of Mirrors." That meeting place was definitely in here. It was something to see by at least, as he could just make out light faintly through the open doors. Putting aside his suspicions, he headed toward the entrance. Sound of his steps against the brick-laid path echoed faintly. He was far from the hustle and bustle of the city. The park's clocks no longer made tick nor talk. and the winter's bite no longer blew in the night. From within the silence, the stillness that would cause any onlooker to hold their breath,
Hello?
Sojiro stopped abruptly at the entrance to the House of Mirrors.
ところで青崎、そんなところで何してるんだ?
By the way, why are you over there, Ozaki?
He called out, turning back toward the plaza. God, she fucking sucks so bad.
She sucks so bad.
A sound rang out, as if someone had dove behind a garbage can and it fell to the ground in their haste. A short silence ensued. For a moment, the abandoned park returned to its previous hush. Resigned to her having been exposed, the girl appeared from her hiding place.
Oh,
Ew, she's in the outfit.
The outfit.
The one I drew myself in for the thumbnail.
I see.
His voice died in his throat as he took in the sight of the girl's familiar face in unfamiliar attire. This Aoko, with her long hair flowing in the breeze, was different from the Aoko that Sojiro knew. The resolute stance and posture she took exuded the strength of her will. She stared directly at him with a sharp-eyed, piercing gaze. Her eyes were glowing with a dim phosphoric light, enough to give Sojiro pause that he might be hallucinating. An icy coldness and a girl's strength. Sojiro lacked a sense of danger, but the sense of imbalance caused even him to feel the malice in the air. It was as though the Juki Onna, spirit of folklore, had climbed out from a ghost story and appeared here in reality.
Aozaki.
Ozaki?
Instinctively, Sojiro took a step back. Surprised, he was starting to feel concerned. An unpleasant premonition rose to the surface, bringing with it a sense of anxiety. In spite of this, he felt obligated to honor urban etiquette by seeing if she was alright.
Did something happen to you? From the looks of it,
Without acknowledging him, Aoko took a step forward. Her figure, his atmosphere. Sojiro found himself recalling a recent memory. His twisted and knotted apprehension melted away and was replaced with a growing realization. The girl before him was very similar to someone he had seen before, that night in the park, though he had only seen her from behind. With increasing certainty causing him to swallow nervously, he noted that they might as well have been identical. You asked me what I was doing? Well, it's exactly what it looks like. I was waiting for my prey to pass by. Once you went inside, I was going to follow and cut off your only route of escape. Aoko said, perturbed by the swift change in plans.
So I came to the right place.
That's your concern, boy?
Real mop moment.
Sojiro was mightily relieved that he had not got the wrong place. It was unclear whether he felt confident about dealing with what was to come, or if he had simply failed to grasp the hopelessness of the situation. Aoko ignored his obtuse response and continued. You know, Shizuki? Just like anyone else, some people get on my nerves and some people I just really hate. But the funny thing is, my enemies are never people on my shit list. Cold emotion burned in her eyes. Her feet had already moved from one step closer to Sojiro. Sojiro's sense of foreboding was growing stronger. Wondering if what he sensed was bloodlust, he retreated another step. Continuing as so, they maintained a distance of just 15 feet. As far as I can recall, I've never thought of someone I didn't like as an enemy. As it happens, I've even had enemies that I liked. And the reason is simple. She held her right arm out. The light about her was no illusion. It's simple, really. Anyone who throws me out of whack is my enemy. Her arm moved again. It was instantaneous. Something shot past Soichiro in the blink of an eye, missing him by just a foot to his left. Before his eyes, a blue light, something akin to a fireball, had ignited from nothing. He finally understood what was happening.
Wait a second. I've seen one of those before.
She ignored his dim-witted reaction. Damn it, I missed! Aoko muttered to herself. The fist-sized hole the blue light had made in the House of Mirrors crackled and smoldered. A shot like that could easily cave in a human skull, in addition to burning it to a crisp. I have to kill myself if Alice saw me miss at this range. But you get it now, right? This is it for you. There won't be a second chance. Sojiro backed away swiftly. Things were beyond incomprehensible. He was this close to losing the ability to think at all. All he could make out was the figure of the dependable student council president, or at least what he had thought was the president, and the memories of the park that night 2 days ago. He had never experienced anything like this, though most people living in a civilized country could have never seen anything like it either. A lethal weapon that could kill with nothing more than the pull of a finger had a way of suspending the ability of its target to determine between not just good and evil, but dreams and reality, past and future. And the more peaceful someone's life had been, the stronger that suspension was likely to be. All that one could think about was the fact that they were alive at that very moment. It was as if he was an unwritten character on a blank piece of white paper. There was no before, there was no after. There was only what came next. This was a very common thought process for anyone staring down the barrel of a gun. Oh, don't bother begging. It's pointless. But feel free to air your grievances. It's a killer's duty to listen to her victim's last words. By saying it was pointless, she made it sound more like she could not listen to what he had to say. However, Sojiro was in such a state of shock that it did not even enter his mind to speak up. Oh, that's such a good transition.
That was fantastic.
All he knew, for reasons unknown, was that the girl in front of him wanted him dead.
You could have told me, Tobimaru. You said that no such thing exists. How about now, idiot? There's a monster right in front of me.
Sojiro felt that if he had said that aloud, the second blast could come even quicker than the last, so he kept it to himself. His mental expletives stirred his mind from paralysis to mere panic. His response came not from confidence, however. Someday, out of the blue, someone is going to kill me. While it may have seemed like a baseless belief to hold,
but now I think about it, murders happen all the time in cities. I should have remembered, if you break the rules, you get killed. I knew that already.
To Sojiro, the situation seemed to perfectly align with his inexperienced understanding that the city was a coldly pragmatic place. As far as he was concerned at this moment, being killed by a classmate was not something to be surprised by. In a society where murder was possible, he was able to accept this sort of situation as natural. Of virtually no concern was the series of events that led to Aoko's aggression toward him. The only thing that truly confused him was Aoko's blue fireball. Sojiro swallowed with an audible gasp. Gulp, sorry. To anyone who may have been watching, he was the responsive victim paralyzed by fear.
そういうことよ。ようやく
That's
理解してくれ
right.
たわね。
So you do finally get it.
多くは語らないけど、
I'm a lot of words, so I think it's about time you died.
魔術や陰徳
I could go on about how magecraft has to stay hidden, but
そっちには関係ない。
that doesn't really have anything to do with you.
単に運が
All
なか
you
った
need to know is that you were in the wrong place at the wrong time,
私
and that it was me who
あな
killed
た
you.
を殺したってことだけだから。
Done talking, Aoko once again lifted her right arm. It was a hum like a machine. Blue light began to revolve around her arm beneath her sleeve. It was taking longer than last time, leading Sojiro to believe that it was going to be much stronger than the attack that was still scorching the wall behind him. The realization causes panic to heighten.
いやなんだつまり始末するとかしないとかあの夜のお化けは青崎だったとか都会は
No,
本当に
wait, it's not about me having to die, or the fact that the monster that night was actually Ozaki, or whether she's whether she's part of the church. It's not about any of that.
His thoughts became jumbled. Interesting that he may be familiar with the church doing bullshit? Huh. His heart pounded like a hammer. This was no time to be standing still. He was not sure if the girl in front of him was really human. And more importantly, even if he could accept the events unfolding before him, when all was said and done,
待て人殺しはいけない
Wait,
んだぞ
it's wrong to kill people.
I fucking love this guy. Even if it was a God. People die when they're killed, Aoko, don't you know? Even if it was a fact of life in the city, Sojiro was not about to lie down and die. You think I know that?
ちょま
Wait!
Sojiro's scream, still entirely oblivious, was just the thing to invoke Aoko's full wrath. Did she fail 4 of those? Aoko fired a barrage of magical blue bullets. In an instant, Sojiro dashed in the shadows behind him into the entrance to the House of Mirrors. God!
なんだい今のなんだ
What the heck was that?
Oh, the circles discarded like shell cake. It's like a fucking magical revolver. Are you
So
kidding me?
Fucking awesome. Wait, hang on.
He darted feverishly down the hall. After a mere few feet, he was left completely out of breath. This was due to his shock at seeing yet another attack, fiercer than the first, that he had never seen in his life, and because he couldn't shake the thought that if he had moved even a second later, he would be dead. He could not afford to stop. The sound of merciless footsteps closed in behind him.
助かったここならなんとか
Bought myself some time. Maybe here I'll be able to figure out something.
He threw everything into his legs as he sprinted. A straight, narrow passage about 60 feet long connected the entrance to the main lobby. At this rate, if he could just make it to the lobby, he was sure he would be able to find as many hiding spots as he needed.
助かった
Oh, thank God.
He arrived in a large open space. This was the first floor lobby. There were 3 passageways. One led to the basement floor, one connected to the first floor maze. The other was a set of stairs leading to the second floor. Sojiro did not particularly care which one he chose, so, trusting his intuition, he made a run for the first floor maze when... he smacked his head into a transparent wall.
鏡
A mirror?
The shift to see his reflection? Actually insane. What?
This is such a good fucking VN, dude. Oh my God.
面倒だけど、
That's
それ
right.
ならフェアでしょ。
It's annoying, but I guess this makes things fair.
追いかける方に逃げる
The
方に
chaser and the chase are on equal ground. A somehow cheerful voice echoed in his direction. Oh, and the reflection of her in the book.
Fuck, dude.
There was no need for Sojiro to even turn around. In the very same mirror he had crashed into, he could see Aoko Ozaki's figure slowly approaching.
1階の奥にある出口は封鎖しといたから。
You should know I sealed off the first floor exit deeper inside. Physically, not with a bounded field.
やりすぎて封鎖っていうより
Is calling it a seal going too far? Maybe plugged or buried works. Either way, if you get too close, you will be swallowed by a cave-in. I recommend keeping your distance if you don't want to be buried alive. Panicked by the impending footsteps, Sojiro groped for the wall. He could see the stairs to the second floor. He did not understand what Aoko had meant earlier, but he at least knew that the first floor was not going to save him.
ま、私としてはそ
It could save me a lot of trouble if you just died that way, though.
形式上
The cleanup is much easier for accidental deaths. Behind him was a creature beyond words. As she continued her idle taunting, she lifted her right arm ostentatiously. Ooh, her fucking magic circuits. Even from above her clothes, one could see some kind of strange, incongruous pattern upon her body. The veins beneath her skin. They made it seem as though something inhuman was circulating her body. Whether out of pity or repulsion, Sojiro stopped for just a moment. His pursuer evaded his gaze.
ああこれ
You've noticed then? I normally hide it with ointment, but today is special.
魔術刻印って言ってね
It's called a magical crest. It's proof that I'm a mage.
ほら光が回ってる
You see this light revolving around me, right? It's the beginning of what from that snap, those bullets.
今日は調子いいし
I'm feeling pretty good today, and I've never felt more confident in how to use my magical energy efficiently. I think I'm good for another 30 bullets or so.
みたいな装着ができるの
Perhaps she was on an emotional high, for her voice had become frightfully friendly. He's so sad! The substance of the conversation could not have been any more unsettling, however.
そもそも何を言ってい
I
るかよくわ
don't
からない
understand a thing you're saying, Ozaki.
わからない
You don't? I'm telling you that I have 30 more shots in the tank.
そこまで逃げ切れば
If you can escape before I use them up, it's your win. For today, that is.
今日って明日もあ
For
るのか
today? I mean, I have to do this tomorrow too?
Sojiro knit his brows. Aoko's expression creased into a scowl at his behavior. Although he was panicking, it seemed that deep down he still did not feel the full weight of the crisis. She knew he still didn't get it.
宣言はしたわ
I said my piece. Free time is over.
まだ罵り足りないだろう
I may still have some trash talk left in me, but, well, there's never enough time to get it all off my chest. Anyway, just keep up already. It appeared Aoko had prepared this theatrical dialogue ahead of time.
Her ass rehearsed this.
Not to allow her opponent time for future pleading, but to give him the time to curse her, his killer. Such forthrightness was her modus operandi. With this victim, however, it was not going as she had hoped.
とにかくそういうことだから
Anyway, that's all I have to say.
じゃ狩りの時間といき
Shall
ま
we
しょうか
begin the hunt? Her voice was void of emotion, and her eyes ruthless as they bored into her prey. This time, Sojiro finally accepted that he was going to die. Ooh. Silent as the dead, it stepped into remnants of a dream that had long since seen no visitors. There was no wind this night, nor a soul to be seen. Still, it heard the echoes from within, clasped its hands together, and grinned. Its form, with hands clasped, resembled that of a budding tulip. The varying of this artificial flower reflected in the cloudy mirror of the ticket attendant's office next to the gate. Next to it stood a display board, corroded by years upon years of rust. Number of visitors today? 2. Number of today? The board had graffiti crudely scrawled atop one of the words. It was replaced with deaths. The records board had long ago fallen in disrepair. After taking a full 10 seconds to digest what it was looking at, it made its own revision. Number of visitors today? 3. Number of deaths today? 1. After appending this number with an index finger, she smiled like a flower. Then she began to walk toward the source of the sound. Oh my god! Ooh. It had been 10 minutes since this rhapsody had begun to echo from the House of Mirrors. The amusement park's entrance returned to as it was before, soulless. I'm so intrigued in seeing how this goes down. In the end, even if Shojuro had been the luckiest man alive, there was no way he should have been able to escape. The question, however, was how much of this was by design, and how much was sheer coincidence. Even Aoko, who had made all of the arrangements, had no answer. Indeed, there were only 3 things she could say. It was taking longer than expected, he was putting up more resistance than she had anticipated, and that choosing the House of Mirrors had been a mistake. She had really screwed the pooch on this one. The location itself was an excellent choice, as the House of Mirrors was perfect as a hunting ground, but seeing her own incompetence reflected in the mirrors was beginning to grate on her. The moment Aoko's right arm began to glow, Sojiro made a beeline for the staircase in front of him. A strobing series of blue flashes lit the room behind him. The hunter calmly followed her prey, and the prey desperately ran for his life up the stairs. Just what the doctor ordered. Oh my fucking god!
That's the coolest shit I have ever seen in my entire goddamn life.
We can very well let the best laid plans go to waste now, can we? In stark contrast to Sojiro's frenzied escape, Aoko walked briskly up the stairs. She elected not to run after her prey in order to maintain a set distance. As she lacked confidence in her accuracy, she could be the most challenged if Sojiro bull rushed her and went down fighting. But at a distance of 30 or so feet, he posed no threat. By the time her prey drew near, she could fire 10 shots and hit him with at least 4 of them. Her positioning just a moment ago hadn't been ideal. At this distance, in a space this open, there was a chance, however small, that it could turn into a fistfight if he flanked and charged her. Currently, Aoko's best weapon was the bullets from her right arm. If she was going to capitalize on that advantage, it was in her best interest not to close the gap between them. If there was a good time to approach, it was only after her prey had become exhausted and had lost the will to continue. Would she pierce his leg? Shoot him in the back? Or perhaps, would he just give up after losing himself in the labyrinth? The hunt could end when her target sustained some sort of injury and became unable to run. On Sojiro's end, he could barely bite back on screaming as he bolted through the maze. Even running in a straight line had become difficult, much less searching for an exit. Sojiro, please!
He just keeps hitting the walls. The poor boy.
The corridor stretched out far before him, or so the mirrors blocking the path made it seem. Panicked, he made a turn to the right.
Buddy. Sorry, I forgot I was supposed to be reading this.
Yeah.
That hurt.
Clutching his head in his right arm, Soldier led with his left, groping through the air to see whether a wall was there or not. He dove down the hole to the left, narrowly dodging the bullets targeting his life. Urged on by the sound of approaching footsteps, he ran without thinking. That last one was close. A hair closer could have meant his life. Oh my god, the recursive feet in the mirror.
It's really, really good.
Oh my god. He caught the odor of burned hair from the back of his neck. He was very lucky. Or perhaps very unlucky. If he were actually lucky, he could not be in this situation in the first place. The second floor of the House of Mirrors was structured like a giant spiral. It went left, starting from the outside wall. Eventually, it could lead to a dead end. The more he tried to escape, the more cornered he could become, as though he were trapped in a twisted guillotine. His stifled screams threatened to leak out as complaints. No matter what he did, he was going to be killed. All of his struggling merely served to prolong the inevitable. Yet he ran. No matter how many mirrored walls rammed himself into, he ran. Even after crashing so hard that his forehead bled and he saw stars, he ran. Pain shot through him at every turn. The more frantically he ran, the more intensely he smashed into the invisible walls. His body began to understand this rule and beg him not to run anymore. His breath was already ragged after sprinting a couple hundred feet. No matter how he thought about it, this was not normal. This was way too crazy. This was all just a bad joke. If he turned around now, she could apologize to him for taking it too far. His mind gone blank. As his body continued to slam into the mirrors again and again, his feet slowed as they began to believe that, perhaps, it really was all just a joke. But then... he felt a chill. A touch of death upon his neck. That's so cool! Oh my god! It could not be an exaggeration to say that Sojourn knew this kind of terrible chill far too well. Ever since he had arrived in the city, he had come face to face with more than one or two near-death experiences. For someone who did not understand city life, his present predicament was not unlike when he experienced the traffic on the streets or the commuter rush on the station platform. He was far from an innocent babe unable to comprehend life or fear. Rather, everything he had ever known became irrelevant when he was flung into a completely different cultural sphere. Even society's promises of safety, something urbanites took for granted, were threats unknown. So he was used to this already. Though, if he were to be honest, he was dissatisfied with some things. Things superfluous to necessity. This world was overflowing with valueless things, and they were all dangerous in some way. Even the everyday necessities sold at the convenience store were, as far as he was concerned, amazing tools. Civilization had raised the standard of living so high that it had numbed humanity's sense of danger. The city's constant pursuit of wealth and convenience was a poison to a country boy like Sojuro. And he did not have the capacity to accept these conveniences. That it was possible for such conveniences to easily and suddenly be misused and causing unintended accidents had always made him anxious. Why? He had to wonder why he was even here. How ironic. It took the real threat of death to finally make him realize. Like a divine revelation, but he'd failed to understand until now. He'd always had to expect the unexpected. Near-death experiences were more common than one might think. To begin with, safety was something that came at a price. Being alive meant that the opposite was always lurking around the corner. It was just like a streetlight at night. When the sun rose, its illumination could naturally disappear. Another barrage of strange projectiles whizzed mercilessly by him. He recalled in the back of his mind the charred remains of someone at the hands of that blue flame 2 nights prior. Somehow, the situation reminded him of a horse being led by a dangling carrot. For now, he lifted his head and continued to run through the labyrinth. But for what purpose? Oh man, I love this so fucking much. Though he knew the pain in his chest was very real, he felt disconnected from it. The night sky visible through the skylight was a muddy ultramarine, no longer resembling the one he knew. And managed to calm himself. Sojiro began to laugh in despair, as though something rather precious had been broken. Everything had become meaningless anyway. Even so, his legs somehow made their way forward, the sight of her reflection in the mirror. Like a game of cat and mouse, Sojiro fled through the labyrinth of mirrors. Then, after 4 minutes, a strangely unreal tension ended. The 9th shot of blue light hit inches away from him. It exploded the moment it made impact, launching Sojiro into the opposite wall. Of all the fire he had taken thus far, this shot indisputably brought him the closest to death. Oh! The Foley! Like, that was so Oh, that's so directional.
This is so, like, immersive. Like, I'm just listening to the duration, and I'm just like, I'm so in it. I see this scene so perfectly clearly from the Foley. It's insane.
Groaning, he collapsed to the floor. His back was on fire with pain. He was not bleeding, and was lucky he could even still scream. Yet his body refused to move. Physically and mentally, he still had something to spare. The pain was not so bad he couldn't get up. It was just that there was a skylight above him. He could glimpse the dark of the night sky beyond. The feeling that overcame him was a raw, selfish bout of grief. Oh, it was just so cruel. He had to stare at that for the remainder of whatever short life he had left. Sojiro's ragged breath slowed. For all intents and purposes, he had given up. He had given up from fleeing from the pursuing footsteps, and perhaps even the root of all of his problems.
Well, at least it was Ozaki who got to kill me.
Sojiro Shizuki felt things that, in any other circumstance, he could never feel. Incidentally, without exaggeration or embellishment, this was the only mistake he had ever made in his entire life. Staring vacantly into the night sky above, Sojiro listened as the footsteps drew near.
Give up?
You give up? It was the closest her voice had ever been to him. Perhaps feeling that he really had given up, she approached his collapsed form. In the dark, mirror-lined corridor, he could not make out her expression. Without a word, Sojiro raised his eyes to meet his murderer.
返事がないならそれでいいけど。
I suppose if you don't care, you don't have to ask.
調子狂うわ。普通どうして殺そうとするのか。
You really do throw me off. Most people could ask me why I'm going to kill them right about now. Aoko spoke from within the shadows. His eyes widened in bewilderment. Now that she had mentioned it, he realized that it couldn't have been the obvious question to ask. He had more or less picked up on the fact that he was being killed for learning some secret, but it was human nature to want to know more.
That makes sense, now that you mention it.
A simple affirmation. His face was a mixture of resignation and a forlorn longing. He thought for a moment before...
でも言う必要はない。
But you didn't have to say anything.
聞きたくないんだ。
I didn't want to hear it.
He responded in a mature, subdued voice. His response was clear, rather gallantly so.
そう。
I see.
じゃ、殺すけど。
I'm still going to kill
死ぬ
you.
の怖くない。
Aren't you scared of dying?
怖いに決まってる。
Of course I'm scared.
そうだ。
It'll probably hurt.
His face turned wry as he objected, to which Aoko frowned. As nonchalant as he could be, he was honest about his feelings.
そりゃ怖いでしょ。
Of course that could be scary. I'd be scared too, you
でも
know.
悪いわね。
Sorry though. You'll just need to deal with it.
人でなしと罵ってく
It's
れ
okay
て
if you call me a monster. That's exactly what I am right now.
そういった意味じゃあんたと同じ。
I guess in that way I'm
普通
just
の
like
道徳が
you.
ないのよ。
I don't have what you could call normal
必要
morals.
なら人も殺
Helps
す。
when I need to murder someone. Sojiro's finger twitched in response to her indifferent tone. As if to say that, despite having given up on just about everything, his body could not let those words slide.
人殺しなんて。
Murder is wrong, you know.
分かってるって言ってるでしょ
We。went through this. I know that already. Aoko raised her right hand. The light from the crest illuminated her face. It goes without saying, but her expression was unchanged. She was not crying, nor was she smiling. She was a young woman who had excised her feelings. Deal with it was another thing Sojiro could not let slide. Sojiro could read on Aoko's face that she was not herself. She was in pain, and to a degree he had never seen in her.
すまない。ちょっといいかな。
Sorry, but I guess I do have something to say.
何ここまで悲壮感を盛り上げ
What
て
is it?
や
I
っぱ
don't
り
think you
逃げる
can
なんて
trick me
わけ
into letting you go by making me feel bad. He unconsciously smiled at Aoko's ruthless counter and breathed a sigh of relief. He had misread the pain he saw in her face. This was the same Aoko. Sojiro laughed out loud in genuine joy, a laugh that most other people could have taken as an insult.
遺言でも聞いてあげようと思った私
I'm starting to regret letting you say your
って
piece.
いうか
Or should I take that attempt to make fun of me as just that?
いや、そうじゃなくて。
No, I'm not laughing at you. I was just wondering if that person over there was a friend of yours, Ozaki.
Out of nowhere, Sojiro pointed behind Aoko.
はあ
What? Aoko thought it must have been that old, overused distraction technique. If this had been a Japanese comedy act, this could be the part where she gave him a whack with a paper fan. But after giving it a second thought, she realized Sojiro didn't have the capacity for understanding old or even new tricks.
あんた何言って
What are you? Perhaps his honest disposition had been to his benefit. Without thinking, Aoko gave in to her curiosity and turned her gaze toward the direction in which his finger was pointed. And there, something that should not have been there in the maze. Something with a creaking wooden smile. It was the ominous, creepy, uncanny figure of a girl. Oh man.
人形
Perfect time for me to fucking take my titty pills.
Shout out to all the dolls in chat. Take your estrogen.
Everybody take your estrogen and tighten your strings. Oh. A puppet? An unusual figure with 2 arms and 2 legs stood silently in the darkness. If only for a moment, its beauty, which was even apparent from afar, dulled the insanity of the current situation. Extend, extend, extend. The utterly unknown threat made Aoko freeze on the spot. Avoiding it didn't even occur to her. Humans possess intelligence and knowledge, but when confronted with the unknown, they fail to process what to do and... Ooh. Ah! A shriek escaped Aoko's mouth. The magical attack crossed the 30-foot gap in an instant. The arm of the girl who had appeared at the rear of the corridor was slender and quick. It extended to a near impossible length, striking Aoko from behind. Aoko crashed into the wall as she fought back an anguished whimper. The attacker retracted her arm.
Ozaki!
Sojiro sprang to his feet. He darted to her side and used all the strength he could muster to get her to her feet. He could not believe how light she was. In Sojiro's mind, Aoko was an extraordinary individual. He'd expected that if he were to ever touch her, it would be apparent she was far stronger than he. But in reality, she felt about as heavy as you could expect a 100-pound girl to feel. Oh my god!
Oh.
Holy fuck.
Oh, okay.
It was slower retracting than extending. Yeah, it's like a spring-loaded mechanism, huh? Meanwhile, that thing continued to reel in its arm, as if it were some sort of mechanism. Having extended more than 30 feet from the elbow joint, it clanked as it returned to its previous shape and size.
Are you okay?
Hey, Dinty! Hi! Oh, the heart monitor is off. Yeah, that's fine. She's not wearing it.
I should have. Next time.
Are you for real? How can you even look at me like that right now? Aoko tore her hand away from Sojiro. Suddenly, she felt her knees buckle from under her, but Sojiro caught her before she could hit the ground and help her to her feet.
Don't push yourself too hard. Do you know this thing?
He looked back at the eerie shadow 30 feet away as it finished retracting its arm. Yeah, I fought one of its friends a while back. Aoko grabbed her lower back as she answered. A searing pain shot through her. It's just a bruise. How can it hurt this much? It could have killed me, catching me off guard like that. Or maybe it can't kill from a distance? No, that can't be it. I must be missing something. Aoko tried to steady her breathing as she assessed the damage done to her back. The pain was quick to fade, and her breathing returned to normal. For the time being, her motor functions were no longer hindered, which meant the real damage was elsewhere. It's so cool.
Ozaki, you're...
I know. Just shut up already. Blue light glowed across the gloom. The magical energy generated by her breathing was accumulating in her right arm. If magical energy was the fuel, the formula was the igniter. For Aoko, this was little more than a reenactment of 2 evenings ago. Next time the puppet extends its arm, Aoko could fire a magic bullet as fast as she could. A battle at approximately 30 feet. As long as Aoko could secure a 2-second window, she could create a counterattack to end their duel. It made its move. With its head tilted down, there was no expression to be seen, and in the darkness, its apparent age was impossible to make out. To the 2 humans, the puppet was not dissimilar to a faceless ghost. Its left arm slowly came up with a grinding sound. Its movements were dull, as if the joints were rusty. The right arm, which had been extended earlier, hung at its side. Though the puppet's mouth was hidden by the long locks, the sense was that it was smiling.
さっきと用途が違う。あれが本命。
It's changing it up. It's attacking from the left.
しずきくん、どいて。
Move it, Shizuki! She threw herself into Sojiro and extended her hand. Its arm extended that very moment. The timing was impeccable. In a single second, Aoko's snap bullet scored a direct hit on the puppet's arm, throwing off its trajectory and sending it crashing into the puppet's body with a violent explosion. Or at least, that is what could have happened had the magic formula been invoked. She barely avoided being struck once again. When her magecraft failed her, intuition took over and she just managed to get away.
やられた。最初
She
の
got me. She knew what I was going to do. She clenched her teeth in frustration, her thoughts racing a mile a minute. Fight or flight? It only had one arm left, which could take time to retract. This was the best shot Aoko had at defeating it. If she could evade the right arm just a fraction, she could get close enough to...
Vevo instom, solitare putres inferis. Ictius mes orbitus dies, et mes nativus dies. Teobeam.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Actually, I think you need to do this one if this is who I think it is.
Oh, should I?
Yeah?
I guess I'm reading Latin, or should I read the English, or?
You can read the English, no need to focus on the Latin.
I mean, I could, but like... In slumber I live, in dirt I rot, alone. Today is the day I died and was born. I come to you.
A crackle echoed through the corridor. The poetic murmurs contained enough magical energy for a mage to perceive. The verse itself was Latin, but it contained hints of the language of curses, Gander. Originally, they were words meant to curse a hated adversary. However,
Mea animae mortalis, otem eftura negatas.
My life is immortal. Though my future was destroyed, I am a ghost. The definition of life is ethereal. I hate you. I love you. Let us meet in a dream.
the puppet was directing the words at itself. Curses beget curses. The victim calls down a curse on the assailant, creating a vicious cycle of negativity. The incantation was meant to do just that. However, this was ultimately a one-puppet show. An unprecedented source of power akin to auto-intoxication. As unbelievable as it seemed, the cycle of curses had been turned into a perpetual motion device.
何それレベル高すぎじゃない
You got to be kidding me! Isn't this overkill? Aoko abandoned the idea of digging her heels in. It was time to flee with all due haste.
何してんのあんたも
What do you think you're doing? Come on! She grabbed Sojiro's hand and ran as fast as she could, deeper into the realm of mirrors. A crackling voice continued its murmuring behind them.
Proximi mich negligentis ferunt. Omnes nos peccantes
My
tuus,
neighbors neglected me.
et omnes nos
Not
aedem
an innocent among us. We are all sinners. We are all sinners. Welcome to my house. May we die a muddy death, from dust to dust. Gouge out my heart.
How many verses does this incantation have? This is a really powerful magecraft.
Death be upon you.
Oh, that's so uncanny! Hey, Aldor! We're watching the funny puppet do a chant. Aoko fought against the pain in her back as she ran through the mirror corridor. She dragged Sojiro by the hand.
青崎、傷は
Azaki, are you okay?
別に
My spine is numb, but it could be worse. My internal organs seem fine, but I don't think I'm bleeding internally. She cursed inwardly at how much of a mess she felt, though. Unlike Sojiro, Aoko did not run into any transparent walls. Thanks not to superior sight, but rather preparation. She'd hammered the layout of the building into her memory.
平気ってわかるのか
You really okay? How can you tell?
そりゃ自分の体
Because it's my body. Not the first things a mage learns is how to keep track of your body. Aoko's matter-of-fact answer contrasted with Sojiro's nervous questioning. The corridor grew shorter with each and every left turn. At first, they were able to advance in a straight line for about 100 feet at a time. But by now, they were forced to turn a corner every 50 feet or so.
あいつはあの夜の
Is that the one from the other night?
多分ね
Probably the same pattern at least. Whoever's behind it must be pretty wealthy to be throwing a valuable automaton around like it's a
よっぽどお金
toy.
持ちなんだろうけど
Right, Diego, Oh, you haven't seen anything past this whole scene, so you will be all new next time? That's exciting!
Very, very hype.
Sojiro furrowed his brows. He was grateful that she was answering his questions, but baffled by the strange words she was using.
青崎ストップもう随分走ったぞ
Hold up, Azaki. We've been running for a long
あ
time.
いつは曲がり角一つ分向こう
We're a
だ
good corner ahead of it. We can afford to rest a moment.
His words suggested that he was still concerned about her injuries. Aoko shook her head in irritation.
あの距離を狙ってくる
Not enough against something with that kind of range. We need to keep running until we're 2 or 3 turns clear at least. Sojiro nodded. With that matter settled, he asked,
なんで俺を連れて行ってるんだ
Why didn't you leave me behind?
逃げられたくないからじゃない
What do you think? So you couldn't get away, idiot? Answering curtly, Aoko glared at her naive prey. The two of them headed for the next corner. Her legs began to slow as they rounded one more. Aoko rubbed her back as she tried to catch her breath. Though Aoko had insisted that she was fine, it appeared to have been bravado. Even the usually clueless Sojiro felt the desperation they were in. He stood behind Aoko with his arms folded. While they had a moment, he tried to make sense of everything. First, Aoko had nearly killed him. Though he was saved at the last possible second, it was by the strange, stretchy woman Aoko had burned to ashes 2 nights prior. He could barely make it out that night, but he considered it her because it looked female. The woman's attack wounded Aoko's back and forced her to flee. Aoko had taken Sojiro with her, claiming that her reason she did so was to prevent her prey from escaping. In other words,
青崎はまだ諦めてないんだな
You haven't given up, have you, Azaki?
当たり前よ
of course not. Even if I had to face 2 of those things, I'd still have plenty left to take care of the likes of you. Her tone was sharp, but even Sojiro could see that she was struggling to stay confident. The damage to her body was too much to afford her any optimism. Still, the fury in her eyes refused to accept her circumstances.
中がところどころショートしてる
My magic circuits are shorting out like crazy, which means that right arm of hers must be jamming my spells. Though the proper response would have been for her to tremble in fear, she did nothing but shake her fists in anger. The disruption of formulae was only supposed to work on absolute beginners. If it had been her roommate, that arm could have been repelled the instant it hit her, and the attack circuits burned out, rather than her own. Attempting to establish a link to the magic circuits of another mage was like presenting your heart on a silver platter. It could be of no use in a battle against a superior mage. And yet, her adversary had been designed to do just that. Coupled with the attacks on areas of Misaki and Aoko's jurisdiction these last few weeks, it was clear statement that from the enemy, who had revealed itself as a fellow mage 2 days ago. In other words, the puppet saw Aoko as no threat at all.
的な正確な判断だこと
Played right into her hands, huh? While she was still angry, The whirlwind of emotions within her started to fade. Her face was that of a hunter far beyond her years.
なんか俺の時より真剣だな。
You seem to be more concerned about this thing than you were about hunting me.
まあね。
Well, naturally, I was only playing with you. I love the usage of the sprites and the reflections so fucking much. Oh my god.
It's so good. The framing's insane.
Soju was not sure whether to be happy or sad at that.
わからないことだらけで何を聞いていいか
This is all so confusing. I don't even know where to start.
一つだけいいか
Can I ask just one question?
Aoko didn't respond. Her eyes were focused on the darkness before them. The silence was heavy. The darkness was like a noose closing in on them. But Sojiro continued in spite of her indifference.
青崎はあいつも
Are you
殺すの
going to
か
kill her too, Aozaki?
A stillness fell over them. It was as if the gloom was pulling them in. No response. Her breathing was the only sound echoing in the dim corridor. There stood Sojiro, forcing her to confront her sins and the magician girl who continued to ignore him. They spent a few seconds, seemingly frozen in time.
そう。
Yes.
それがあなたのキーワード。
That's a sticking point for you, isn't it? Aoko whispered in a lifeless tone. Her side was tinged with both resignation and contempt.
キ何
Sticky. Huh?
独り言よ。忘れて
Nothing, forget it.
それと、
But just so you know, that thing that's following us isn't human.
信じられないだろうけ
You
ど。
might not believe this, but it's a puppet that can move on its own will.
この
Just like the one from the other
今
night.
のやつもね。
Sojiro nodded as he processed the information. Not only did he not doubt her story, but he seemed to have accepted it at face value.
なんか落ち着いてるわね、あなた。
You're awfully calm.
まさか
No way. I have no idea what's going on, so I'm just trying not to think too hard about it.
ただ人形に
The
関しては
part about it being a puppet isn't too surprising to me, though.
もしかして
I just think you've seen one before.
見たことあるとか？
都会の人形
What
っ
do you
て
mean?
ああ
Aren't
いうものじゃない
all
のか
puppets in the city like that?
She barely stopped herself from falling to her knees. Of course, how could she have forgotten? She was dealing with a bona fide natural-born moron. As a student who transferred from the isolation of the mountains like an endangered species, his utter lack of common sense rendered anything miraculous as mundane. If automobiles were moving hunks of metal, then moving puppets were nothing to write home about. Wait, that meant... To him, the incident from the other night hadn't been extraordinary at all. He might have even assumed it was an everyday occurrence in the city.
参った。いっ
I
ぺん
give up.
頭の中覗いて
You
み
know,
たいっていうか
I'd really like to get a look inside your head someday.
ここまで来る
I
と
honestly
感
have
心
no
する
idea how you made it this far in life.
調子が狂うのも当然だった
No wonder you're such a
普通
weirdo.
は私が襲わ
Normally,
れた時点
people
で
couldn't react the way you
もっと違
did
う
when I
反応す
attacked
るはずなの
you.
に化け物とかお
I
化け
could have been a
とか
monster or a ghost, but for
でも
you
あ
it
なた
was
に
just
とっては
another new fact of
そういう
life.
こともあるでなんかバカみたいね
I'm starting to feel like the real moron here. Her strained face returned to normal for a moment. Five Nights at Freddy's is a documentary, right? Fuck, dude. It hurt her. It hit her. There had been another way to handle this without anyone getting hurt. But the damage had already been done. There were no do-overs in life, nor should there be. Her own mistaken assumptions had sent that situation spiraling out of control. But now that Sojiro was involved, she had to make sure that her secret was safe with him. Even if there had been another better option, that ship had sailed. Human relationships were ultimately driven by mutual misunderstandings. They were like tapestries, woven from mismatched intentions. Break time was over. There stood Aoko and Sojiro Shizuki. Their first ever idle conversation had come to an end, not that they had a choice in the matter. It was the jarring murmuring from around the corner that cut it short.
Nobody remembers my funeral. My mourners have long since perished. We were born wrong. Life is suffering. Somebody save me.
The fact that it's just fucking chanting that as it slowly approaches is so fucked. The enemy was just around the corner, visible in the mirrors parallel to it.
悠長に話してる場合じゃない
We don't have time for this.
とにかく
We
今は
need
距離
to keep our Huh? Oh! In contrast to Aoko's elegant blues, its lights were a malicious red.
感動打ち
Thunder shots! There was a momentary flash of light before she even extended her arm. But the instant she saw the enemy, her dormant feelings erupted once more.
さっきから邪魔
You're a real pain in the ass! She channeled all of her pent-up anger and shunted it into her right arm. The fog that filled the corridor was no magical weaving, but rather a very raw energy. It was equivalent to setting ablaze 3 buckets of gasoline to create a wall of fire, in the hope it could stop an arrow in flight. If the puppet had attacked with its arm, it could have pierced such a wall easily, but because it had loose curses with no definite form, the wall of energy repelled the attack. While it was a huge waste of magical energy, it was the only means Aoko had to protect herself at that very moment. Unfortunately, its protection was reserved for Aoko alone.
Oh, I didn't realize that was him.
Yeah,
Fuck me.
it's okay. Sojiro held his hand to his mouth. While the curse had been weakened to the point where Aoko could no longer feel it, it had plenty of effect on Sojiro, who was not a mage. As if it understood this fact, the puppet turned its gaze from Aoko to the unanticipated human being behind her. Oh my god, that's such a cool fucking shot!
It's so good, dude.
このこいつは
This has nothing to do with him! Enraged, she swung her arm forward again. The blue light from a wall to block the gander for a scant few seconds. It was enough for an opening to exploit. Just as Aoko was forming the wall, the puppet pointed its right arm at her face and...
あるみたいだから逃げるぞ
This apparently does have something to do with me. Time to run.
Before the rocket of death could be fired, Sojiro scooped her up into his arms. How he mustered the strength to do so was a mystery, but he turned his back on the puppet and took off running. He was a nimble sprinter, resembling a deer leaping across obstacles. Sojiro rounded 2 more corners, ignored whatever complaints Aoko was making, and eventually stopped in the middle of the 2nd floor. He set her down.
よしここまで来れば少しは休む
Alright, I bought us enough time to rest a bit.
Sojiro's shoulders heaved as he caught his breath. As light as she was, running while carrying someone else could make anyone winded. She looked up at him in incomprehension.
こんな体力あったのに
You had that much stamina all along? Then why? It made no sense to her. If he had the stamina to pick her up and run, surely he could have stood up and escaped when he had been down before.
あああの時は諦め
Oh,
たから
that time I'd given up.
His words were unfiltered as ever. Though right then, fighting for their lives, he lacked some of his usual absent-mindedness.
諦めてたって
But why?
さあ忘れた
Who knows?
そんなこと
I've forgotten already.
Though he may have turned away because he regretted saying it aloud, his words spoke volumes. For some reason, it pained Aoko to see him like that.
それより青崎唐突
Also,
に気分が悪いん
Ozaki,
だが
I'm suddenly feeling really ill.
あの赤い光もその
Was it that red light?
ええ
Yes,
類
a form of magecraft. They're called gander shots. A curse that originated in Scandinavia. It has no effect on someone with magic circuits like myself, but you're defenseless against it.
なんだ青崎には効かな
I
い
see. It doesn't work on
じゃ
you.
あ
Then that arm is the only thing that poses a threat.
Aoko had no idea why he was relieved, but she gritted her teeth and fought down the urge to snap at him. There was no use in yelling at a time like this. Above all, she felt that it could have been petty in the extreme to voice her annoyance right now.
そうね。注意するのは伸ば
You're
して
right.
る腕だけ。
The extending arm is the only thing I have to worry about, so it's not that tough after all. This time it was not false bravado. Such an enemy could normally be a breeze for Aoko Ozaki. But her shameful negligence had led to the disruption of her magic circuits, making her even less formidable than her enemy. At this point, Aoko had no way of attacking. The only option left to her was to wait for it to expend all of its magical energy, but its perpetual curse mechanism made that a non-starter. This game of tag could not end until one of them was dead. She realized that she was in the same position she had cornered Sojuro in earlier. She glanced at her right arm. She could not imagine how she had gotten into such a mess with her magical energy at more than half of its capacity. It's had to be karma for having enjoyed toying with Sojuro earlier.
いるところにはいるものね。
Maybe there is a god after all. She grumbled under her breath as she shifted her focus. She had the feel for the fire, but not the igniter. And that killing machine would chase her until the end of time if need be. What she should do next was blindly clear. She had to get back to normal.
青崎
Ozaki?
ごめん、考え事してた。
Sorry, I was thinking.
確か。
Maybe that's good?
合ってる。
Okay.
しず
Shizuki, I got
そこ
it.
に横道あるの。
You see that side passage over there? Aoko pointed, but he could see nothing but the walls of the corridor. For one thing, the floor had nothing but left turns, and Aoko was pointing to the right?
2階は中心まで行くと1階に降りる階段があ
At
る
the center of the second floor is a stairway down to the first floor, which I destroyed earlier so you couldn't use it.
けど、ここの作りも
But there's
意地が悪
another
くて
path that leads to the right.
よく見れば、
Like this place is taunting you by design. It's a secret shortcut that only the hardcore fans know about.
あとは注意して探せば、
If you search carefully, you can find a way down the stairs to the first floor.
一人で
Now do as I say, and go on without me. Aoko turned her back to Sojuro and started walking. Walking in the opposite direction of the escape route and down the long corridor toward the puppet in pursuit.
あいつは無差別だから、ここで壊さないといけない。
That thing will kill anything it sees, so I have to destroy it here and now. It's okay for two mages to fight each other, but dragging normal people into the conflict is strictly forbidden.
あいつの目的は私のわけだ
I'm
し
the target, so this is the best outcome for everyone, don't you think? If Aoko won, the puppet could be destroyed. If Aoko lost, its objective could be complete and it could shut down. Either way, them going their separate ways could mean Sojuro survived. This is what Aoko meant. Though she explained it as if the events were happening to two totally different people.
運が良ければ入り口までたどり着けるわ。
If you're lucky enough, you'll make it back to the gate in one piece. So, see you tomorrow then. Even Sojuro could tell she was just trying to act off. But she had already disappeared around the corner by the time he thought to stop her. Oh, this fucking girl!
Oh, I love her.
さて、
Well then. Mentally, Aoko bemoaned the disaster she was in. The quality of this puppet was on a completely different level compared to the one from the park 2 days ago. An auto-incanting perpetual motion machine was a rarity in and of itself, but this puppet was also equipped for battle, with extending arms and counter-projecting crystalline eyes. It was a first-class product that, if put on the market, could sell for hundreds of millions of yen. Although, that was only when factoring in its value as an antique. For the purpose of combat, it could have been it would have made more sense to mobilize a significantly less expensive familiar. Use such a precious commodity as a tool for murder marked this puppet master as a completely different breed of crazy from the enemies she had faced up until now. Oh my god! That is such a cool transition to the puppet vision.
That's so good.
Oh. Do you want to read the late Latin?
Sure, I haven't done this in a while, so I might fuck it up, but I don't think anyone cares. Vivo in somno, solitare putresco in infernis. Hic dies meos ubitus dies, et meos nativos dies. Te obiam.
来たわね。
Here it comes. A sound of a crackling music box filled the air. The automata, animated by its own curses, approached. Yeah, the face is layered differently and it's really cool, huh? The corridor measured approximately 30 feet in length. Aoko lay in wait around the corner, further down the hall, anticipating the puppet's appearance. It was not to buy such a time to escape. Far from it. Aoko had concluded she couldn't make a break for it under the current circumstances. Even if she did try to escape and, by some miracle, made it out the House of Mirrors, that was as far as she would go. Outside with no cover, Aoko could quickly be overtaken and skewered from behind. As long as her magecraft was disabled, escape was impossible. Instead, she chose to force the enemy back. Her situation was not the most favorable, but neither was the puppet's. Though this narrow hole gave Aoko no place to run, it in turn prevented the puppet from reaching full speed. That was the weak point of this machine. Automata of its era had a tendency to struggle with minute change in speed.
セット。
Connecting. She flowed energy into her shorted circuits. Her blood flow and magical energy supply were unstable. It could be very difficult to construct a formula in this state. All she could do was harden her right arm by imbuing it with as much energy as she could. Doing so, turned her right arm into an improvised weapon like a hammer or a bat. Assuming she could manage to get into close-range combat, this was the best she could do. All she needed now was a plan of attack. The question wasn't what weapon to use, but how to use the weapon she had. The simplest way could be to use the mirror's reflections to hide and then rush the puppet from its blind spot. Except for one major problem. It did not have a sense of sight in the first place. The puppet's view of the world around it did not stem from visual feedback, but from mapping the topography of its surroundings. In theory, it was the same as a bat's echolocation. The environment could be measured based on the emission and return of high-frequency sound waves. Those chants serve as sensor pulses. As far as... It's so cool!
That's so sick.
As far as the puppet was concerned, the mirrors were no better than transparent panes, making even the thought of an ambush laughable.
近づけば近づくほど、よりリアルにさ。
I do notice that that reflection behind has not matched or changed in a bit.
ガンドを撃ってくるなら、フィンの一撃ぐらい
The closer it gets, the more it's able to sense me. I'd really rather fight it at a distance, but if it's shooting Gander, it's probably got at least a Finn shot up its sleeve too. Gander was Scandinavian in origin, and considering its simplicity, highly versatile. It was mostly effective at impairing a target's health by pointing a finger. As a single-action magecraft, it was limited to only causing illness, but there was a secret technique said to be the greatest master of the Gander shot. The Finn shot. It could do more than cause simple illness. It was a deadly curse that could stop the heart. Yeah. The wound on her back set her nerves on fire. An unarmed girl and a deadly automaton. It was clear that she was the one destined for death. She considered her slim chance of survival when... a vision sent chills down her spine. Quietly, using everything she could to clamp down on the feeling, Aoko faced her all too familiar illusion. She clenched her teeth to keep them from making a deafening clatter. But there, the sensation of fingers crawling up her neck. Behind her, the specter stared and laughed. This alone made Aoko want to bolt. On top of it all, when Aoko tried to mentally simulate the coming fight, she estimated a 2 in 10 chance of dying in the first 5 seconds. 20%. At times, her predictions were harsher than reality. If Aoko fought the puppet 10 times, she could die twice. She could not stop herself from visualizing her own corpse. Yeah, I'm thinking, is that Red Little Riding Hood? Does Aoko have some relationship to fucking... Oh god. Jesus Christ. Ayakana. Even the names are similar in a bit, no? A little bit?
Coincidence? I think not.
She imagined herself collapsing, crumpling under the puppet's curse. Her eyeballs swollen like a blowfish, blood and other fluids oozing from every bodily orifice. 1 in 5. 1 in 5. 1 in 5. A 1 in 10 chance of death was bad enough, but 1 in 5? It drove her crazy. But... Aoko forced down her heart as it tried to escape from her mouth. Taking in a deep breath, she peered at her own reflection. She thought back to that white night half a year ago. This, she decided, was nothing compared to that. 6 months ago, at the Kwanji estate. The Hound of White Roses, the wonder snatch that appeared from within the thick fog, had killed Aoko 100 times out of 10.
Mea anima immortalis, ote mea futura negata sunt. Manus sum.
Mea anima immortalis, aute mea futura negata sunt. Manes sum, animam definire ambiguum est.
I fucking love the puppet so much.
This is so sick, dude.
A dark curse shattered Aoko's daydream. It was only 30 feet away. The puppet rounded the corner. Either side stood in the shadows, their forms indistinct. Oh, the reflection?
God.
The puppet gave no warning. Without preamble, it swiftly fired a Gander barrage. As Aoko planned, the curses fizzled out as they hit her mist-like barrier of magical energy. Protection could only last a few seconds, giving her just enough time to... Come on! A stretchable spear sprang toward Aoko's face.
Bingo!
Bingo! Lethal weapon grazed her cheek. All her experience analyzing puppet attack patterns gave her the wherewithal to evade the attack by a hair's breadth. It was one thing if a puppeteer were pulling the strings, but autonomous dolls had their limitations. Aoko had bet everything on this killing machine following a predefined template. The puppet could use a given attack for a given range, and she could adjust her tactics to that. Now's my chance! Before its arm had a chance to fully retract, she charged the puppet. It was a risky gamble, but her overall chances were slim to begin with. The scales tipped in her favor. If her predictions were correct, there were 2 ways she would die. One was from a fin shot fired at that range. And the other was if the puppet's attack pattern was beyond her ability to foresee, throwing herself in from the sprinkler.
That's so fucking awesome, dude.
Instantaneous mass transfer, otherwise known as mass displacement. Immediately after Aoko dodged the puppet's arm, something smashed into her abdomen. The head-on collision from its shoulder felt like a rocket. But where had the ability to propel itself come from? Puppets like this were not built to have the ability to jet around like that. Doing everything in her power to stay conscious in spite of the pain, Aoko could just make out what happened. It wasn't propelled, it was pulled! Yes, the puppet's arm had not returned to its body. It was lodged in the wall and reeled itself in from the other direction. It can't do that! Swallowing her surprise, she hastily pulled herself back up. Her abdomen, specifically her diaphragm, had been dealt a significant blow. The attack left her disoriented. Thankfully, the puppet was surprisingly lightweight. Her bones and organs were intact, and she had sustained no life-threatening damage. She was having a hard time breathing, however. She was shaken, though she managed to keep her calm. In another 2 seconds, she'd be back on her feet. No, that was 2 seconds too long. She told herself to calm down, that she was already calm. She'd only briefly lost her bearings. She was fine. She could recover her breath and her vision later if only her body could move!
Intellectus non necessaris est, pius quiescat, o nostra essentia ableta fuit, ratio fixia tantum est, dolores nitium cerebrum fuit.
Above her, Aoko could hear the warped noise of a powerful force. Come on, let's move! We got to get to... Where? She could once more feel the touch of death. Oh, fuck, I love the black and white graphics here so much.
I'm taking notes. Lis salvatio. Sorry, I'm so caught up in this.
Yeah, I know.
I just lost my balance. I'm standing up right now. I'm like beyond height.
Hon! Careful. Puppet was so close that Aoko could reach out and touch it. That also meant that it could reach out and kill Aoko. I need to get my right arm into its blind spot. By intuition alone, Aoko rolled over to the puppet's right flank. Its arm was still embedded within the wall. From here it could not attack. She had made the right decision, and her dizziness faded.
Intellectus non necessarius est, pius quiescat, o nostra essentia ablata fruit, ratio fixa tantum est, dolores nitium cerebrum fuit.
Oh, that's a really fun chant, isn't it?
It's really, really fun to say, I can't lie.
Aoko pulled herself back up. It was her turn. Huh? It was only an instant. Within this labyrinth of mirrors, she saw an image of herself.
Lis salvatio.
Oh. A blinding, brilliant light flashed. Lacerations appeared across the walls. At the last moment, Aoko managed to thicken the magical energy running through her veins into a primitive form of magecraft resistance. It just barely saved her life from what must have been the puppet's ace in the hole. Why you? The puppet bore a striking resemblance to Aoko. This powerful curse was not satisfied with stopping Aoko's heart, but destroying her entire being. Aoko did not even have time to be shocked. This was her chance for a counterattack. The puppet's balance was unsteady. Its right arm was still embedded in the wall. Aoko prepared to give its defenseless body a strong kick, but her knees buckled and she collapsed into a heap on the floor.
Vivo in somno, soltare putresco in infermis. Hic dies meos obitus dies, et meos nativus dies, te obiam.
Ooh. A sudden nausea and lightheadedness overcame Aoko. Her body temperature began to rapidly lower.
こいつ
This the whole time it was spreading its curses. This whole time. She noticed too late. The puppet's curses circled the hole. The curse chant that the puppet used as a source of power doubled as a defense mechanism, crippling those who drew near with Dinless. She bore the full brunt the entire time she was in close proximity to it. Although Aoko had magical circuits, she was succumbing just as Sojiro had. Languidly, she forced her deteriorating body to jump back. I'm not done yet! With all the energy she could muster, she forced her way past the exhaustion caused by the curse. However, Aoko's blood pressure took a steep nosedive, not from the curse-induced anemia, but from what appeared in front of her. They stood in perfect harmony. In front of Aoko was the automata that shared her face, its left arm held out like an arrow. The deadly weapon shot forward and honed in on her heart. Then, a moment before it made contact,
Watch out!
the moment she heard that fearless voice, completely out of place in this storm of violence, Aoko's body was pulled forcefully to one side. Once again, the extending arm cut through the empty air. While the puppet quickly retracted its left arm, Sojiro took the brief opportunity to take Aoko by the hand and flee at full speed. Oh, the boy! Oh, the boy!
Boy ex machina.
Sojiro ran through the corridor as fast as he could, only stopping when he had put enough distance between them and the puppet.
その考えてみると
I was thinking, and
Though he had saved her, she looked angry rather than grateful. This did not keep Sojiro from saying his
明
piece.
日はどうも忙しいみたい
tomorrow's gonna be a really busy day for me, so
In other words, let's finish this today. A rather awkward proposal. Aoko remained silent. She was also rather angry. Not that she could not figure out what made him tick, nor because he'd returned after escaping, not even because he was spouting his typically airheaded lines. It was, she supposed, that instant. The fact that when he grabbed her hand, her mind had gone completely blank. Aoko found it unforgivable. Which beckoned the response.
あなた正
Are
気
you insane? In the heat of the moment, she blurted it before she could stop herself.
それとも自殺願望
Or
でも
maybe
あっ
you
た
got a death wish. Don't you realize that either of us could kill you with a snap of a finger?
少なくとも恩を
At the very
売る相手
least,
じゃない
I don't owe you a damn thing.
言っとくけど
Saving my life does not
助け
change
られてるなんて
anything
まだ信念
between
に持ち合わ
us.
せていないから
Sojiro nodded, clearly unperturbed.
青崎がそんな可愛らしいもんじゃ
don't
ない
worry,
のは
Azaki.
Kono
If
yoru
tonight
de
taught me
honen
anything,
shiteru yo.
it's that you're more ruthless than that.
She found herself slightly offended.
けど君は勘違いをしてるから少し
But I think you need to get one thing straight.
あいつの狙いは青崎だけじゃな
That
い
thing isn't just trying to kill you.
俺
I
も
think it's
殺す
trying
気
to
だ
kill
と
me as well.
She was having none of it. Her eyes shot daggers his way.
話は最後まで聞く
And before you chew me out, you need to know something.
1
Do you
階の
remember the
入り口
first
ある
floor
だろ
entrance at the
あの
end of
細
that
長い
long
通路
corridor?
なんでかあそこから先に進
Well,
めない
it's
んだ
blocked. I tried my best to find a way out, but no luck.
仕方
There
な
was
く
no
戻ってき
choice
ろ
but to turn back.
Aoko's eyes widened ever so slightly in amazement. She felt admiration rather than shock that her enemy could go to such lengths.
それにさっきので完全に敵扱いされたあの人形こっちをじろっと睨んできたし
And besides, it was hostile to me too earlier. I could tell by how it was glaring at me.
いや一瞬で
Well,
よく見えなかったけ
It
ど
happened so fast I didn't really get a good look at it, but it was really unsettling. You
青
should be
崎も気を
careful.
つけた方
That
がいい
thing, she sure
多
has a
分よっぽ
terrifying
ど怖い
face.
顔をしているに違い
それはご親切に
Gee, thanks!
なんでこれはもう他人事じゃないんだ。
You bet. I mean, I can't pretend like this isn't happening to me.
青崎と人形。結論
Whichever of you wins, I'm a dead man either way, right?
殺されてしまうんじゃないか。
そうね。
I can't argue with that. If it's willing to go as far as to seal off the entrance, then it'd probably kill any witnesses as well. At least that's what I'd do.
だろ。でも、俺はあいつには
Right?
殺されたくな
And
い。
I don't want her to be the one that kills me.
Wait, what? His words were decisive. As Aoko looked up at him, she could swear he was trying to encourage her. It was then that she realized. Sojourner was looking even worse than before.
ちょっと待って。
Hey, are you okay?
まあ、醤油を一生
Well, I'm better than if I drunk an entire bottle of soy sauce.
Tried to make light of the situation, but his forehead was clearly drenched in sweat.
そうか。さっき人形に
Right,
近づ
it's
いたか
because he was so close to the puppet just now. How could he possibly be able to withstand a curse that made even Aoko nauseous? She bit her lip, annoyed at herself for not noticing this earlier. Sojourner was such an airhead that she hadn't even paused to consider his plight.
下で隠れていようとか思わなか
Why
った。
didn't you consider trying to hide down in the
安
basement?
全でしょ
That could have been the safest bet, couldn't it? She could not understand him at all.
それは青崎が言うセリフじゃないな。
You should really take your own advice sometimes, Ozaki.
でもまあ、
But hey, this is no time to be chatting. She could catch up at any
そろそろ追いつい
moment.
てくる頃だ。
He turned to look down the corridor. His crackling sound of a music box could be heard creeping forth from the darkness.
さっき1階にて考えたんだ。
I was thinking about this when I was on the first
君がやられても
floor
俺を殺さ
earlier.
れる。
If it kills you,
まず
I'm
奴を
next.
どうにかするべ
That's
きだ
why we should deal with it first.
あなた。
What are
何が
you
言いたい
getting at? She asked a question to which she already knew the answer. She did it to put him to the test. If he wavered even a little, she could have killed him where he stood.
提案。あいつをやっ
My
つけるのに
proposal
協力
is
したら
if I agree to help you
俺の
kill
ことを
that
見
thing,
逃してくれる？
will you let me go?
助けられたぐらいじゃ信念は
I
なく
thought
な
I
いって
made
言
it
ったでしょ
clear that helping me wasn't going to change my mind. And besides, what do you think you're going to do to it anyway?
それは青崎が考えてくれ。
Oh, that's your end of the bargain, Ozaki. This is your area of the expertise, right?
The commander who had the overall picture was responsible for delegating roles to their teammates. It was futile to depend on someone who was unable to grasp the situation or evaluate the enemy's strength. Sojourner was proud to share that he knew this. He spoke the truth. Aoko was the only one who knew both Sojourner and the automata. That was why he pointed out that following her orders to the best of his ability was the only thing he could do. It may have seemed as though Sojourner had surrendered his capacity for self-thought, but in accepting that he was helpless, he was in fact giving Aoko his complete trust.
Can I have just a second to run to the bathroom?
Yeah.
じゃあ私の指示に 100% 従うって
Take your time, hon. I'm going to take the, Yeah, I'm going to, save the data right now just in case. It's been a bit. Hey, chat, you enjoying so far? You liking the way that we're back at the, everything going on here? Do you like the puppet woman? Do you enjoy the Aoko puppet? Which we don't fucking know why it looks like Aoko. Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. God, this VN rules. It's so good. It's so good. Worth the wait. I am glad that you'll think so. And I'm very glad to be back here. It's been way too long. The puppet is really cool. I know several people who are not going to be the same after today's episode. She's more civilized than human. I'm really glad to be back. This is always a riot to go through. And I love these fucking goobers so much. I love these characters so much, chat. Looking like that could be dope. Yeah. I'm thinking about puppet joint tattoos. Just a little bit, you know.
I wonder why that could be.
I wonder why that could be. Hello,
I
and welcome
wonder.
back.
I wonder what kind of bad bitch would have joints.
Your puppet hand to do puppet things.
Your puppet hands to do puppet things with.
Hmm.
Also, I had my headphones on, and I did on the way back hear, I mean, looking like that would be dope. And I knew that was Dinty.
Yeah, no, that was a dinty message if there was ever one.
Dinty ass sentence.
Hmm.
I'm ready to keep going.
Fine then. So you'll do exactly what I tell you to do.
あ、それにこれはオンと
I
か
will.
君の話じゃない。
And just so you know, I'm not doing this out of a sense of obligation or anything.
一人だと分が悪いから二人で
Just obvious that neither of us had a chance on our
善
own.
意でも好意でも
This isn't goodwill or
取引って言わない
kindness.
か。
It's a transaction.
His eyes sparkled, as if this was bartering in its truest form. Oh my god! This child must have learned that from Tobimaru, Aoko thought. But she refused to let him see it. She smiled inwardly. Sure, he had gotten the best of her just now, but there were times when defeat was not the worst outcome in the world.
労働と報酬ってわけね。
Honest pay for honest work? Makes sense. And I hate to admit it, but... She relaxed her shoulders and sighed. Her face cracked into a wicked grin, as if her fears had suddenly washed away.
それ、結構
Your plan
私
is
の
just
頃に
my style. Aoko repaid Sojuro's trust in equal measure. Here we go, the team!
結構きついかもね。
Just so you know, this is going to be pretty tough for you. Aoko warned Sojuro, moving as fast as she could without her footfalls causing a din of noise. Sojuro remained near the center of the spiral maze on the second floor.
実を言うと、もう一つ用
I
意
let
して
you
お
in on
く
a
仕掛けがあ
secret.
るの。
I have another trap up my sleeve.
自分でもやりすぎだって呆れたもん
I
だけ
think
ど
I might have gone overboard with this one, but when you didn't show up on time, I just couldn't help myself.
ん仕掛けって俺を
A trap? For me?
Sojuro tilted his head like a squirrel as Saoko freely discussed the final ace up her sleeve.
地
Ooh,
下の柱に着火型のちょっとした魔術式を刻んでおいたの。中心の柱に
oh my god, Aoko!
連鎖的に他の柱に仕掛けた魔術
I engraved an ignition formula into the support pillar in the basement. If I ignite the central pillar, it will start a chain reaction that will ignite the rest.
ジャミングを食らう前に作ったもの
I
だ
made
か
it
ら
before that thing started jamming me, so if I infuse it with a bit of magical energy, it will go boom.
うん
Mm-hmm.
Sojuro was, a little unsettled by how unclear the last bit was.
青崎こうじゃわからな
Ozaki,
い
could you,
できるだけ明確
clarify?
に
I want to know how much you were going to blow me up. Please be honest.
あともしかして俺
Also, I did make a or did I make a mistake agreeing to team up with you?
いやその
Don't be silly, it was just an insurance policy. Yeah,
追いかけっこの
I
途中で
just
あん
thought
たを
that
見
if I
失った
lost sight of you at any point, I could blow the whole building and you with it. It was her policy to be thorough to a fault. After all, she laughed embarrassed to hear herself say it out loud. What a fucking anime fucking shot here.
God.
いくらなんでも徹底しすぎてる
Don't you think that's overkill?
This was Aoko's cruelty. Sojuro forgot about the situation at hand and protested from the bottom of his heart.
何よいいじゃない
Stop complaining. At least we now have a way to fight back. He shot back. Aoko dashed down the corridor, mumbling things that probably could have sent Sojuro panicking if he heard them. The strategy was simple. Aoko could use the escape route to the right and avoid the puppet while making her way down to the basement. Upon reaching the central pillar, she could infuse the formula she had prepared with magical energy and escape. Once ignited, it would take about a minute for the chain reaction to spread through the whole house of mirrors, and another minute for the building to collapse. She could be cutting it a little close, but because she had committed the maze of memory, she was sure she could make it out in time. Aoko assumed that the chain reaction caused by the pillar could clear the barrier that the puppet had placed behind the entrance. And even if it was strong enough to withstand the blast, it would not be able to stay standing once the foundations buckled. Sojuro's escape was assured as long as the formula in the basement was activated. Next came the most important part. The automaton was at a disadvantage in the obstacle-laden House of Mirrors and was unable to move at full speed. If it was near the center of the second floor when the building collapsed, it could be caught up and crushed by it. Fulham was keeping the puppet on the second floor until Aoko couldn't make it down to the basement. I'm counting on you, Shizuki. I just need you to keep it occupied for 3 minutes. Ideally, he could be able to keep it busy until she could activate the formula. If that failed to work, him luring it down to the first floor could be the next best thing. She understood perfectly well the danger she was putting Sojuro in, but his lucky streak and running speed were nothing to scoff at. As long as he has, all he has to do is run, then maybe, just maybe, he can actually pull this off. Aoko made her way through the hidden passage of the maze, her hopes pinned on Sojuro. Meanwhile, well out of earshot, Sojuro was reading himself for another desperate chase. He calmed his beating heart using a method of his own making. What mattered most was that he remained calm. The plan was simple enough, and Aoko's orders were succinct and easy to understand. Keep a distance of around 30 feet and weave through the corridor as slowly as you can 3 or 4 times. Count the mirrors as you move to locate the hidden passages. From here, they are on the 6th, 3rd, 7th, and 2nd mirrors, counterclockwise. Use those and you should be relatively safe. It was essentially a looping marathon. As long as Sojuro kept just enough distance from the puppet's extended arm to allow her to track him, she could continue to chase him indefinitely. Simple though the task was, Sojuro was putting his life on the line as bait. And then was the final order to run as fast as he could to the exit when the building began to sway.
This is more than just a little tough.
Oh, the fucking sound is so good. He nervously stuck his head out from around the corner. He could hear the sound of the music box from the other side of the corridor. First, he had to make eye contact with it, then head through the shortcut on the right and begin their game of tag.
So good.
He spotted it and braced himself. Closer. Closer. Given that her arm could fly at him at any moment, he went over Aoko's instructions in his head.
Wait.
However, he could not quite remember which pane led to the first hidden passage.
King.
The 3rd? The 6th? The 9th? Oh no, he's dead! No! He was sure that was mistaken. He was confident he had it memorized moments ago, but his nerves had gotten the best of him, and his head was now spinning. Then, Sojuro realized that the sound of his pursuer was beginning to grow distant, and at an incredible speed.
What's it doing now?
The initial silhouette of the puppet astonished him, before it had taken the form of a beautiful girl. But now it made a bizarre transformation, and returned to the first floor to pursue her primary target.
Oh, this isn't the plan.
Sojuro was no longer sure what to do. Before he'd even had time to mourn his failure, the puppet had vanished out of sight. I'll help, so let me go. or so he had said, but now he could not follow through.
さて、自分はこれか
So,
らどうしよう。
what am I supposed to do now?
Alone, he tilted his head in frustration. He spoke into the darkness as if Aoko could be there to answer him. Me? Yeah, Paper Mario. God. Meanwhile, downstairs, as soon as she arrived at the first floor, Aoko understood what had transpired above her. She did not even have to strain her ears to hear the puppet. Even during its heyday, its attraction had never made sounds like the one she heard coming toward her now. It was the sound of despair, as if a horde of monstrous hedgehogs were scraping their way past the mirrors in her direction. At it, 3 minutes? He couldn't even last 10 seconds! Rather than buying her time, Sojiro had instead stolen hers. He had one job, to run away. That was all! She cursed him under her breath. Multiple footsteps? So it switched from bipedal to multi-leg form? The echoes made it sound like dozens of feet were approaching. Aoko's mind conjured an image of a giant 6-legged spider tearing its way down the corridor. It was little wonder that it was so much faster than before. Its perception of its surroundings through echolocation was of a particular use in the dark. Compared to sight-dependent humans, this automaton was far better equipped to navigate its way through the labyrinth of mirrors. If it could not keep pace earlier, that had been because its bipedal mode made it less maneuverable. Now, the stability provided by multiple legs gave it a speed that far exceeded that of any human. What now? Her thoughts spun out as she tried to come up with a plan B. All she knew for sure was that this was a pivotal moment. If she continued standing still, she had seconds left at most. Even in her current state, she knew she could easily neutralize the bounded field blocking the entrance without casting a spell. All she had to do was feed a little of her own energy into it. Aoko could sprint with all of her might for a little more than 3 minutes. The puppet had far more stamina than she did. She could only come up with 3 options. The first was to escape through the exit in front of her. The second was to hide somewhere on the more complicated first floor. And the third was to run into the basement and to be stuck like a rat in a trap. Well, that's obvious enough. She made her decision with zero hesitation. Moving her stiff legs again with determined strength. The oncoming storm was almost upon her. Her resolve firm, she turned and ran, descending into the darkness. Down she goes! Show me what you're made of, Aoko. No matter what, a finale should be glorious. This could be the Mirror Castle's final scene. 2 humans on a puppet. A young sorceress ran toward the subterranean heart of the castle, while an autonomous antique chased its prey into the depths of a demonic dungeon. A minute later, a faint blue charge could ripple through the castle. This was the main pillar in the deepest depths of the basement. Though not critical to the castle structure, the pillar was a visible symbol of it. The girl concentrated her magical energy into a fist and thrust it into the pillar. This was the blow that could bring down the castle. She imagined the destruction as she threw the punch, and that scene blossomed into reality seconds later. It was simple ignition magecraft, meant to release the condensed magical energy engraved into the 4 pillars at the corners of the structure. Using electricity as a switch meant virtually instantaneous activation. Oh my god, that's so fucking cool! It happened swiftly and elegantly. A hammer of destruction descended upon the castle of dreams that had stubbornly resisted its fate for 2 years. It was almost a joyous sound. And so, The lifeless and abandoned Castle of Mirrors set the stage for its final and most spectacular performance. Aoko's magical energy became an electrical charge that activated the Magecraft formula engraved into the pillar. The chain reaction could lead to the castle's destruction.
ご苦労様。
You served your purpose,
でも思ってたより
but it must have been wrath. Looks like you're gonna collapse anytime now. The plaza and the oh fuck, the mirrors, nothing?
Amazing.
Plaza in the center of the basement. Aoko tried to steady her breathing while rotating her magic crest at full speed. She wreathed her arms in blue light, fully aware that she could no longer activate another formula. Oh my god! Her labored breathing refused to settle. She stood at the center of the basement. Without being spotted even once, she had managed to make it all the way to the center pillar. It was a 100-meter dash in 13 seconds flat. Undoubtedly a new personal best. She spurred on her weakened heart, knowing full well the fate that awaited her.
入れば追ってくる。地下につけて
Can't help but follow me. And once down here, there will be no escape.
当然よね。
I should have expected that.
回ろうなんて
It was too much to expect that I could keep up the chase forever. Hindsight was 2020. The castle was only a minute away from collapsing completely. If they stayed here, they could both be crushed by the rubble. The puppet certainly did not care. With no life of its own, its sole concern was the elimination of its target, Aoko Ozaki. Indeed, the enemy had been willing to die from the start. She resented her own lack of resolve. It wasn't like her to tuck tail and run from an opponent that didn't fear death.
ソルターレプトレストインフェリス
Vivo insomno, solitaria putresco in infernis, hic dies meos obitus dies, et meos nativos dies, te obiam. So, we're experiencing like a category 5 gender event.
Oh my god! Fuck, dude!
This is like really, really fucking good.
It's always been on a suicide mission, huh?
六足歩行とフィ
It
ン
doesn't have enough juice to power the six-leg form on the
もう
fin
時点で
shots.
魔力補給じゃ間に合わない
Curses aren't recharging it fast enough. Such a perpetual motion device was only as good as its ability to regulate its energy consumption. Using so many functions at once meant it was burning through fuel quickly, and losing the ability to process the curses that powered it. It was using up all the functions it had been given to achieve its aim. This was the pride of a tool. If such things could have ego, those endowed with sentience could never hope to understand. A beast born to do nothing but run could burn any human who faced its resolve.
ほんともったいない
It's so waste when you think about it.
こういう無茶をす
I
る
thought
の
my
は
sister was the only one capable of something this reckless, but I guess I was wrong. But Aoko did not intend a sacrifice play here. She respected her adversary now, and she was done regretting her choices. There was no time to waste.
行くわよ
This
こ
is
こ
it.
できっかり
This ends now. Aoko had every intention of paying it back double for what it had done to her. The energy Aoko had accumulated exploded out of her right leg. She aimed for a single thing, a head-on attack. The enemy responded with a lethal curse that reached for her heart like a set of talons. Humming with power, it meant to rend Aoko's heart and burn itself out in the process. As soon as she saw it, Aoko kicked the floor as hard as she could. Her long hair swirled through the air as she flipped aside. This lateral move almost sent her tumbling to the ground, but a quick swing of her arm allowed her to regain her balance. A shot grazed her arm, the curse scorching her left shoulder. She did not flinch. Aoko knew she could hold on as long as she continued to avoid a direct fin shot.
スナップ
Snap! Oh! Of balance and
So
in
fucking
pain.
cool.
It took her half a second to recover. The moment she raised her head, she deflected the attack with a fistful of magical energy.
せーの
Here goes! If the puppet had a will of its own, its eyes could have popped right out of its sockets. It could have been floored, shocked at the strong will that allowed this girl to perform a series of moves like this. Crack! Aoko's response was instantaneous, but her power was not sufficient to completely redirect the arm's trajectory. It was just enough to deflect it harmlessly past her hair.
Initio eraberamos dum vivimus dolores sunt.
Initio reveramus, dum vivimus dolores sunt. Nemo adiuvat, nemo adiuvat, nemo adiuvat.
The chant became a curse that robbed Aoko of her vitality. Did it still have something left in the tank? Or was it actually indignant? Whatever the reason, Aoko was easily able to resist its weakened defensive maneuver. Oh!
That's so fucking cool!
Oh, fuck! Glider! And her right leg, pulsing with magical energy, shot up into the puppet's chest from below.
What a good shot. The conveyance of motion.
And into the fucking mirrors? It was much lighter than Aoko anticipated. Or rather, she felt little resistance. An automaton's weight was determined by its internals, the size of its power source. Ironically, it was the superiority of its music box engine that could prove to be its downfall.
Venite, venite, venite. Meum sepulchrum venite.
Oh my god, that's so fucking sick.
Oh my god!
Dude, fuck me. That's so cool.
Oh my god, I love puppets.
I also love puppets.
A stuttering curse. Having taken the full brunt of Aoko's cake, the puppet bounced from the ceiling to floor, collapsing into a heap. Its internal construction had been warped by the impact, leaving the drum of the music box that powered the puppet warped as well.
恨むなら設計者を恨みなさい
Pick your design flaws up with your
ダイナ
maker.
モの一つでも
A single dynamo could have been all you needed to. Wait, what the?
Did she forget?
Part of the ceiling came crashing down in front of Aoko, snapping her back to her senses.
どうやってぶっ倒した
Did
の
I just really take her out? She was so stunned by her own victory that she had forgot the House of Mirrors had already begun to collapse.
Stop mocking and run.
I gotta get out of here! Oh, it's a timer! It's a timer! There was no time to relish in her victory or pity her opponent. Not unless she wanted to meet the same fate. As the situation stood, she found it hard to imagine getting out alive.
急げダッシュだ私
Get a move on, Aoko! She clapped herself on the cheeks to motivate herself anew. It was her bounty for finishing their battle in a matter of seconds. Her breath ragged with excitement, Aoko ran for the exit. The collapse was intensifying by the second. Having lost its support pillars, the castle was buckling under its own weight.
この邪魔
Out of my way! Escaping from the basement was proving to be no easy task. While she was taking the shortest route possible through the maze, she was nearly crushed by a falling piece of the ceiling along the way. This was the second time, no, third, she had to deal with fallen rubble along the way. She destroyed the debris on the stairs with magic bullets as she ran. The automaton's jamming had long since worn off. The earlier attack had damaged the vast majority of its functions. Aoko's breathing was heavy as she ran. Desperation sparked her brain into overdrive. The ceiling seemed to be collapsing in slow motion. Life seemed to flash before her very eyes. Each second stretched into 5. Her frayed nerves made it hard to tell the time. There was debris riddled through the stairway, forcing her to crawl up it. She emerged from the destroyed basement into the collapsing first floor. That the plaza was still traversable at all was a miracle in itself. Unfortunately for her, the crucial path to the exit was still intact.
よし、ついてる。
I made it! The corridor to the entrance was still intact. The basement maze only extended as far as the plaza, so the entrance corridor couldn't collapse. Only the ceiling would cave in, leaving the scaffolding surrounding scaffolding intact. She got herself this far by telling herself repeatedly that fate could decide whether or not she reached the plaza. Her gamble paid off. It was her lucky day. All she had to do was muster the last of her strength and keep moving forward until... She hesitated for a fraction of a second. Was it naivety? A sense of responsibility? She pushed aside the image that popped into her head and continued running down the corridor.
言っとくけど、時間合わせの余裕はないのよ。
We don't have the luxury of coordinating the timing with each other to pull this
そん
off.
な上等な作戦じゃないし。
It's not the greatest plan in the world, but we both need to do our parts and get to the exit as quickly as possible. That was 5 minutes ago. At the time, Sawyer had nodded with trepidation, and Aoko had not bothered to ask herself why.
何様だったの私。
What are you spacing out for? Just focus on running! This corridor was giving out to. If she were to look back, she was sure she could see the building collapsing in on her. She was also sure she had no time to waste doing so. Her luck was fading as fast as the building's structural integrity. It was a small miracle that she had escaped serious injury up to this point, and she could not afford even the slightest slip up. An ankle sprain, loss of balance, or even a sneeze could be fatal. A simple pat on the back was enough to end it. So naturally... Oh!
Oh!
There it was. Clear as day. From the detritus of the stairway, death had arisen to take her down with it. A corpse that had crawled its way up from the depths of hell itself. Oh my god! It was still operational. And it was still armed with curses. It had crawled after her, watching as Aoko desperately tried to save herself. The puppet's arm shot forward. While Aoko did not turn to meet it, she could see its reflection in the mirrors. Oh my god!
Li salvatio.
Extend, extend, extend! This time she could not dodge it. There was absolutely nothing she could do. The puppet with her face sung.
I invite you to die a muddy death. Become as whispering dust. Gouge out your heart. Death be upon you.
For a moment, she could not believe her eyes. It was the last thing she expected to see.
しつこいぞお前
Don't know when to give up, do you?
A fierce expression adorned the face of the boy who had been waiting in the plaza as he smashed the puppet's outstretched arm. Anger really did not suit him at all. His weapon of choice was a fire extinguisher. He must have searched the maze for something to use as a weapon. No, never mind that. It was too crazy to contemplate, but had he stayed behind for her? Shizuki! Aoko stepped the feet she had sworn never could stop moving and extended a hand out in turn to him.
いいから早く。
That's enough! Leave it! We have to go! Sojiro tossed the fire extinguisher aside and took off running. Oh my god, I love him.
Fuck, dude.
Pieces of the ceiling continued to collapse like dominoes. They kept moving with dust and dirt following in their wake. The shadows raced through the collapsing corridor with all their strength. The castle was in the throes of death. With a massive crash and a cloud of dust, the final chapter of the fairy tale that had been Kitsy Land came to an abrupt end. Oh my god!
Dude.
Ooh, what a fucking good VN! Ah. Can you still keep going, by the way?
Short on time, but not urgent. We can try and
Indeed.
wrap up.
We can finish this scene, I'd say.
That sounds
This-
perfect.
This duel to the death was sober. For a moment, amidst their swirling emotions, any past enmity was forgotten. The two collapsed on the lawn and basked in strange solidarity. The ringing in their ears subsided before long. A tremor of such magnitude seemed impossible in an amusement park like this. As the sounds of destruction echoed across the park, Aoko addressed the individual at her side.
生きてる
Hey, you alive?
Yeah.
チェ
Well, the click of her tongue was adorable. The meaning behind it was anything but.
青崎あいつ
Ozaki?
どうなった
What happened to that thing?
見ての通りよ
What do you think? It
今
was
頃
crushed to
バラバラ死体に
bits.
なってるんじゃない
Sojiro sighed, not wholly relieved by her frank response. His reason?
でもそんな心配より自分の
Never
心
mind
配を
that
した方が
thing.
いいと思うわよ
You should be worrying about yourself. It wasn't out of the woods yet, after all.
青崎子供の頃はいじめっ子だっただろ
I'm guessing you were a bit of a bully as a kid.
可逆趣味はないって自負してるけど
But I don't get a kick out of seeing people suffer.
それで
Really? Are you
今の
sure?
自分の立場
Aren't you sure?
分かってる
Never mind that. Did you know the situation you're in right now? She sat up and smiled. Sojiro hung his head in shame, wondering why her kind tone and expression were so chilling.
面目次第もございません
Please accept my sincerest apologies.
かしこまってもダメよ
Oh no?
あな
Don't
た
you
側
even
には
start?
大前提があ
You
る
know
か
what
ら
our
ね
agreement was, and a
これ
deal
は
is a
取
deal.
引だって
If you held up your end of the
あなたが
bargain,
役に
I'd
立つ
let you
のなら見
go.
逃してあげるっていう
分かってるだから
Exactly.
面目ないって言ってるだろ
And that's why I'm apologizing.
Sojiro made a show of avoiding her eyes. Like a pouting child.
あ
Aoko was taken aback by this sulky display. Perhaps was angry at himself rather than her. He was not mad because she could not let him go. He was mad that he had not done his part.
は
Ah. Aoko sighed for what seemed like the millionth time that day. She could not figure out what surprised her more, his unconditional kindness or her naive approval of it.
じゃあ覚悟はできてるの
So, are you ready?
そんなのはできないけど
Of course not, but a promise is a promise.
結局は
In the
何も
end,
してないし
I failed to do my part.
It was certainly the case that he failed to do any of the things she had expected of him. But just then, she glanced back at the collapsed house of mirrors. What had he done after failing so spectacularly? He had searched for the extinguisher so he could use it as a weapon, and waited patiently in the plaza as the maze collapsed all around him, just because he thought it was wrong to leave her behind. It was a foolish choice, and the exact opposite of her choice to run toward the exit without hesitation.
まそれでよしとするか
I suppose I'll take it. She was satisfied, even as she was shocked at how naive she was being. It was true that he had saved her. She smiled inwardly, admiring, if only for a moment, the bravery he continued to show in the face of such extreme circumstances.
役割は果たさなかったけど
You may have blown your chance, but you didn't make up for it after the fact.
守
I'll
る
keep my promise. With a nod, she pulled herself to her feet.
約束は
But you'll pay this favor, back this favor someday. The girl tried to keep a straight face as she offered a hand to the boy still lying on the
結果は
ground.
どうあれ手助けしてもらったし
You managed to help me in the end,
特別サービスってことで
so because of that,
今夜はもう
I'll
手を
let you off the
出さない
hook
であげる
for tonight.
ん
She bashfully averted her gaze. Though her profile appeared differently than it had in the past, it was clearly still the face of the vibrant girl he met the day he first arrived in town.
何
What are you staring at? As if she had felt his eyes on her, she shot him a frowning glare.
いや突拍子もないけ
Oh,
ど
sorry. It's
青
just
崎は律儀
crazy it is to say out loud. You really are a fair person, Azaki.
He took her outstretched hand. Feeling his weight as she pulled him up, she could not help but think that he was about the last person she wanted to hear that from.
ところで今夜はって言うけど
By the way,
明日から
you said you'd let me off the hook for tonight. What about tomorrow?
さ
Well, we'll just
その
have to
時に
see.
なったら考えるわ
She shrugged her shoulders as if she was not sure herself. Her response was so unlike her that it made Sojiro smile. Was it the solidarity of having escaped death together? Or their fleeting camaraderie that made him do so? God, look at this fucking background too.
I know.
It might have been for this night only, but the air between them was kind and gentle. A lot had transpired, but the midwinter nightmare had come to an end. The pair had overcome many trials and tribulations, and could now leave the mirror realm in their wake. But before that,
随分と身勝手ね
is that Alice?
I think it might be. How selfish of you.
それはあなた一人で決めていいことだったかしら
And who,
Aoko.
may I ask, said you could decide that, Aoko?
Oh my god! It was the voice of a beautiful songbird and the merciless machine, all rolled into one.
アリス
Alice. Her voice quivered as she spoke the name. The lady in black made her presence known. The night was not yet over. Her name was Alice Kwonji. She was a witch whose name struck fear into the heart of Aoko, an avatar of the night who could allow no witnesses. Oh man! So that is the perfect moment to fucking stop that, huh?
That is perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Holy
God,
shit!
I love Alice so much. I love that aura farming is essential in this world.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Right to the title!
So fucking good, dude.
How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling, I don't know, I'm back in it. I'm really glad to be back doing these streams again now that things have settled a little bit. I really missed Mahoyo. I love fucking wizards and shit.
Yeah.
That doll, amazing design, crazy first, like, real, like, fight we've witnessed.
Yup. Bye-bye, James. Oh god. I keep thinking about the way they are visually depicting Aoko's magic.
Yeah, oh my god, it's a fucking magic revolver, dude.
It's a magic revolver and then the circle spinning as a fucking bomb timer to detonate the entire place.
It's so cool.
Oh my god.
You love fucking wizards and shit. She is a gun. She is a gun.
She's good.
It
God.
rips. It just rips. It fucks. It fucks. I'm having a wonderful time and I can't wait to do more.
I am so glad and happy of how this one went too, because it had been a while and this was like such a good episode to come back into.
This was literally the perfect, like, reacquainting.
Yeah, the presentation, each of the fucking sprites and the way they work. Oh my god. Wait, 1 second. I'm still streaming to you, right?
Yeah.
1 second. I want to see the fucking CGs of the doll.
Give me the doll. Give me the doll.
Oh. Okay. Let's see. Magecraft. The running in the fucking House of Mirrors. And her running in the House of Mirrors. The full render of this fucking thing.
That's such a good fucking sprite, dude.
The arm outstretched and without the blur, and reaching out. Her getting fucking Buenos Dias Mandid.
Shut your fucking mouth.
Her funny shield. This shot.
God.
Oh.
Fuck, dude.
The eye. Another close-up of the hand here. And without the blur. Look at Shizuki.
I'm falling in love with this cast. It's really fucking good.
Oh, yeah. Look how many expressions he had there. There's Aoko dodging. Ooh, that's so cool. And the fucking doll with Aoko's face. Oh, man. Oh, man. The shards of glass just breaking. The map of the House of Mirrors. And the little variations at the top of the stairs. More really cool Aoko. She's so fucking cool, though. Oh my god.
Love her, dude.
Oh, she has such cool fucking magecraft. Her running. The fucking spider shot.
God, that is the shot of all time. That shit does shit to me.
Oh, man. It's so cool. Her deflecting the fucking arms. Oh, the full render. Look at its back legs.
God. Fuck, dude.
Oh my god.
The fucking spider doll. That shit hits in ways I cannot even begin to quantify.
The fucking slam into the top of the thing. This lovingly rendered just falling down and opening the eye again.
So good.
Oh. And everything collapsing. What a good use of the CGs too. There was so much motion and movement. It masks how few there actually are, right?
For real, for real.
Oh.
Puppet Magecraft rips, it super does.
It's so cool. Anything else? Maybe shots of the... Yeah. Yeah, of Kitsyland. Look at this render of the fucking place. Oh, God. It looks so good.
Genuinely.
Oh. Oh, the beautifully rendered mirror. Dude. Oh, man. Yeah. And the fucking rubble collapse. And the shot of the entire park. God, look at it.
It's really, really cool.
Oh my god. With the second level with hanging chairs too, huh? Third level, god. Oh my god. There's so many things we've not seen.
I do need to get moving. I have to go get dinner ready.
Yeah, please. Please, please, please.
It's been absolutely wonderful. Thank you for having me. I will see all of you next week. This was absolutely fantastic.
Yee. Loved you,
Thank you very much
hon.
for having me. Love you. Bye, everybody.
ya. Oh. Oh. Yep, there she go. Oh my god. Oh my god. I am... Oh, that's insane. The art in this game is some of the best you have ever seen in a VN. It's so good. It's so good. And that was one half of the encounter. That was one half of the encounter, chat. That was one half of the fucking encounter. There's a fight against Alice potentially next after this. And oh my god. So many things I cannot even say. Because I know a couple of things about Aoko that have not been made obvious in the story so far that I'm really excited for Anya to fucking see. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's crazy to think on, like, yeah? How relatively early we are. This is like, we have done nothing. This is the first encounter. This is the first encounter. We're introducing the plot, essentially. This is the first time we're going hard into the, oh yeah, we're mages doing mage bullshit. Oh my god. But... we do have to be going here. Thank you all so much for the wonderful time today. To everybody who attended, whether you made it this far or not, thank you so much. Friday, AI The Somnium Files. Not going to be doing a Wednesday stream next time. On Friday, hopefully, we see the resolution of the Park Saga. It really is our delight being here for all of you too. I've seen these highlight of the week. I am so sorry we left you all without the highlight of the week for so many weeks in a row. Life got really complicated for a little bit there, but we are back and we hope to keep delivering. For now though, I really do need to be going, but thank you so much. Bye chat, love you all. Bye. Bye. Oh. That's the BRB screen.